Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Looks like today is the day. A new era is upon us. A new era for Tottenham Hotspur under a new manager, i.e. Thomas, the tank engine, Frank, the Frank train. All aboard the Frank train. Listen, according to reports, the deal is done. According to many, it's done. Sky are saying it's not yet done. But Fabrizio Romano, who, let's be fair, kind of a goat in those worlds, has said this. Fabrizio Romano, let's start with this. He has said Thomas Frank will become the new Spurs head coach. And then we've got the famous, here we go. Now, it's kind of like the words that everybody wants to see in the transfer market, whether that's managers, whether that's players. It's the kind of here we go. The other person who has said it, sorry, bear with me 1 second. The other person who said it, who always gets things right, is Sacha Tavolieri, who was one of the first to call this on Friday that Spurs had got Frank, that Ange had gone and that Frank was coming in. He has also said that the deal is done. He said Tottenham Hotspur now have a new head coach. Agreement found with Brentford Football Club. So there are reports that this could be announced as early as 11 a.m. today. Now, I don't believe that. If I'm brutally honest, I think that all looks a little bit too soon. Hang on, let me sort my chair out. I don't know what's going on there. I can always tell if I can't see Janola's head, then I'm not straight. There you go. There's little Janola's head right on my shoulder. There he is. Look. Hello, David. So I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the 11 a.m. Hey, however, if it is that, then absolutely fantastic. And what we're starting to see in the last 24, 48 hours is a lot of transfer news. A lot of transfer news. So today we're going to be talking about Thomas Frank. We have been linked with Tel, Pedro, Semenyo, Grealish, Mbuemo, Hulman of Sporting Lisbon. There's a lot going on, and I've got a feeling, stick with me throughout the summer, we're going to have a lot of conversations, aren't we? Every morning for you at 10 a.m. Mark Sheriff, I'm going to ban you if you start saying silly things. Big up to my man, the Sheriff. David. Hello, David. Stick with me throughout the summer. We're going to have a lot going on. Already, I'm seeing a lot of 50-50s. I put out it was a real harmless 1 minute, short on YouTube last night about 11 p.m. just saying, would you take Semenyo? And honestly, the levels of disagreement is just huge. Some people going, yeah, excellent player, great signing. Others going, underwhelming. I like him. I think he's a good player. Again, doesn't mean he'd be my number one. But listen, we're going to talk about all those players. We're going to talk about Thomas Frank. We're going to talk about the coaches that he can bring with him. And also, we're going to go through my mate Ash and my mate Marlon over there at Spurs Kings TV. They're putting together some little Spurs Content Creator Awards. Yeah, they are. So we're going to go through and have a look who's in each category. Marlon is never allowed on this show again, by the way. Neither is Ash. They didn't put me in the GOAT category. So Marlon and Ash banned from Football Heritage TV. I jest, of course. Great guys, those two. Great channel. Please get over and subscribe to them. We'll have a little look. Let's see what they put together. We'll have a little look at that, shall we? A little bit later. Look, I was speaking to my man Ash this morning, who made a really good point. Said that one of the coaches that we really need to bring with us is Justin Cochrane, who was the ex-England under 15, 16, 17 manager. Apparently, he is second favourite, if I'm not wrong, with the bookies. Favourite with the bookies to replace Frank, who, by the way, there are no odds on Frank to be next Spurs manager. There are no odds on the next Spurs manager anymore. They've gone. The bookies know it's done. Just so you're aware, here's the top 5 for the bookies' favourites for Brentford replacement for Frank. Justin Cochran, you can get a 1-3 on. Kieran McKenna of Ipswich, you can get him at 7-2s or 3s. Knutson, the Bodo Glimt manager, is at 8s. Danny Roll is at 8s. And former Spurs midfielder Michael Carrick is at 10-1. So that's going to be very interesting to see who replaces Thomas Frank at Brentford. That's going to be really, really interesting to see, isn't it? Who is going to replace Thomas Frank at Brentford? Anyway, let's worry about our club. We don't care about them. Thank you very much. They found a gem. We've put him in place. Now we hope that he turns into an absolute gem for us. Do I think that Thomas Frank is happy that he doesn't have to move? Yeah, doesn't need to move house. Yeah, maybe that plays a massive part. Doesn't need to move house, does he? What, from West London to North London? By the way, I don't know that he lives in West London. I'm guessing he lives somewhere in relation to West London. Listen, if people are going to start being silly, you've got to go to another channel. We don't do children here. Ginola wasn't that good. Oh, my gosh, Ginola. Imagine Ginola playing in the Premier League right now. Be the best player in the league. And Ginola wasn't that good, by the way. Ginola wasn't that good that his peers all voted him the best player in the league. Yeah, he wasn't that good. Oh, these children who don't understand football. Bless them. I feel like their parents should have given them just a bit more of a cuddle. Just a bit more of a cuddle. Big up to Ash saying Frank lives 10 minutes from the Brentford training ground. Okay, so he's not going to be far from Spurs at all then, is he? By the way, most England's men caps, I don't know, they're showing Harry Kane is currently 19 away from the record. This, I don't know why people care. Not my initial, obviously my wife's initial. She's away, so I'm using her mug. It's kind of like a comfort thing. Or just the fact that it's the biggest mug I've got in my house. It's a cup of tea with 2 sugars for anyone that gives a shit. Good morning, Savva lawyer. You know what? I woke up this morning and someone sent me, Sav, have you seen this? This person posted in my chat room. It's like, jeez. Savva lawyer. Oh, dearie me. Ben, Savva drinks tea. I can't stand coffee. But tea every now and then, maybe 1-2 cups a week. It's got to be very, very strong. That sort of color. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it. It's got to be that sort of dark color. I don't want any of that pish water type color. I haven't got anything of that. Do-Rag Diaries, thank you for the raid. Let me see if my man George is about. Let's see if he's about. Hang on, let's see. Let's see, shall we? Thanks for the raid. I like George. He's a good character. Feel free to join if you're free. Feel free to join. Feel free to join. By the way, George is one of my up-and-comers to watch. George is one of my up-and-comers to watch. If you are free. I like George. I think he's a good content creator. Good content creator, George. I think there's a lot of content creators where they don't just talk football. My guy talks football. I like George. A lot of time for him. His channel is going to blow. I can feel it. Sometimes you look at a creator and you just know they're going for big things. Yeah, I'll jump in. I've got time to my meeting at 11. Okay, cool. Let me send him the link. Let's get him involved. Where are we? Bear with me 1 second. Let me get George involved. Boom. Invite guests, copy. There we go. Let's get George in. So yeah, good morning to each and every one of you. 513 of you. Come on. Where's the likes? How can we have 513 and 400 of you have not smashed that like button? Can we just get that to 300 ASAP? This could be a very good day. Shots fired at the Coffee King. Ben Kaufman, the king of coffee. Yuck. Blech. Coffee. Blech. No time for it at all. Lots of people speculating where will Ange end up. Some people talking about the Italian national team job. I can't see him working there at all. I'll bring George in. I'll come to him in a second. I genuinely cannot see Ange being the manager of Italy. Can you imagine that high line? Italian football fans. George, I've just given you a lot of props, my man. I said you're my up-and-comer to watch for 2026. So don't let me down, mate. Don't let me down.
No doubt about that, man. Definitely up and coming. And yeah, man, just trying to put in the work. So 2026, hopefully you have a big year, man. Especially 25, 26. And maybe Spurs have even bigger year than this one. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe. Do you know what? You know that shirt in the background? Whenever I see that, all I think of is Nico Crancher. I don't know why.
The yellow one.
Yeah. I just think of Nico. I just got like Harry Redknapp hanging out the car talking about Nico. I've got Nico Crancher coming in. George, it's never dull being a Spurs fan. I'm starting a petition to change our motto to "It's never dull at Spurs." But this summer feels like it's going to be already. We've just had 3 weeks of absolute carnage, winning a trophy, new owners, apparently, board members getting sacked, coaches going, manager of the men and women's team going, players leaving. It's gone mad, hasn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's gone mental. I suppose for us, people that have been asking for change, I love it. I love to see this. It actually, for me, it feels like the club's actually moving in a direction of we've got some standards for ourselves right now because everyone's getting sacked. Because we know that the world of Tottenham for the last year or two has just not been good. All round, whether it's been signings, whether it's been on the pitch, whether it's been off the pitch, the medical team, Tottenham hasn't been a good place to be. So I feel like we're making the right moves by getting rid of some of the people that we got rid of. Some of the reports about some of the people that we're bringing in look to be good appointments. Waiting for that Fabio Paratici confirmation to come in soon, that apparently he can start his job on July the 1st. But onwards from that, obviously, we got Thomas Frank being confirmed today. And although many people... Frank the Tank. It's the Frank engine or Frank. I like Frank the Tank. They've been calling him. Frank the Tank sounds good.
Love it.
But it looks to be like a good appointment. I put in my chat and it looks like most Spurs fans are behind this move. I think more than anything, there's no one that's heavily against this move because I think whether fans like me, I didn't want Frank per se, but I don't think he's a bad manager. I don't think anybody can go out there and say he's not a good coach or not a good manager because he is. He's a good manager, a good coach, maybe just not at the level of what many people wanted.
No, absolutely. And look, it's done, right? So we've kind of got to, everyone's got to get on board with it. It doesn't mean you have to be on board with it forever, but we do have to get on board with it. By the way, big up to Ben. He's put the link in. I've put George's link in the chat. Listen, this guy we should be getting this guy to 5K. He's nearly at 2.5K. So can we please, before we do anything, get over, smash that button. Listen, guys, you know me. Listen, there's always YouTube beef and stuff. But I think sometimes you've got to share some love. And I think there's enough creators with different views. Go and watch them. George is a great creator. Go over and help his channel out. Let us know when you have subscribed so we can say thank you. There's the link. I'll tell you what, let me replace my pinned link. They all know where I am. Let me replace that. George's link is now pinned in the chat. So if you could do that for the next half an hour, his link is pinned to the chat. And George, you've got until about 11, right? Yeah. In about 15, 20 minutes, I want to go through shamelessly. I want us to have a little look at our boys over at Spurs Kings TV. I've put together a little. I
did see some of that, the awards and stuff like that.
Yeah, they've appointed themselves like the arbitrators of the Spurs community for some awards. So I thought we could go through, have a little bit of a laugh, see which awards you're going to win, and see how many of the awards I'm going to win. But we'll have a little look at that. But George, and we're hearing that that it is Romano's giving it the here we go. So is Sasha Tavalieri. Ornstein saying it's wrapped up. What impresses me more about this, and again, people won't like this. If you hate Levy, just shut your ears for a minute. I don't like Levy, but that man's come back from holiday, and that axe is being that there's a lot going on. There are incomings, outgoings. He must be sleeping at the training ground, mate, because there's a lot going on, isn't there? He's sacking everybody.
Yeah, I think clearly, obviously, we heard the murmurs like over the last couple of weeks that Joe Lewis has been involved. He's appointed so on and so forth. Peter Charrington and all these Joe Lewis's daughter's taking over because people aren't happy. Ultimately, apparently, Joe Lewis and Cohen Enoch aren't happy with what's going on at Tottenham right now. And I think more than anything, they can see Tottenham's not in a place where it's going to make a lot of money. If we're not playing Champions League, we're not competing, we're not making the right moves, we're not going to make the most money. So people aren't happy with what's going on. So like you said, I think Daniel Levy, they've had a speaking to him. They've let him know, look, things need to change. It needs to change quickly. And he's starting to get back into, I think some people forgot what type of operator Daniel Levy was 10 or so years ago, because we used to get rid of managers like nothing. Andre Villas-Boas, I remember when he got sacked, I was shocked. I was like, yo, Villas-Boas has been sacked. He was having bad, but he wasn't terrible at Spurs. He didn't get nowhere near as bad as Ange got, or get nowhere near as much of a chance. So people forgot the type of operator that he was. So we're coming in to apparently have some standards again, sack some of these people, coming to make some moves. And ultimately, I think, like you said, these moves are good moves. Levy ain't going to be sleeping, but he needs to start working hard, because these Tottenham guys have been sat on their hands for far too long, man. Been doing absolutely nothing.
Well, listen, one of the arbitrators of the Tottenham fan base, I'm guessing this is Marlon. Ash has normally been in the gym for about 9 hours already this morning. Have you seen that man's physique is disgusting? It makes me feel like I'm the fattest person in the world when I see Ash. He's ripped. Big up to him and his physique. So I'm guessing this is Marlon, dad of 900 children. Hope you're well, Marlon. He said apparently it's not Levy. And there's lots of reports that the guy that Lewis put on the board as the non-exec director in March, Peter Charrington, apparently a lot of this is to do with him. Yeah. But do you know what? I don't care who it's to do with. If it's the best for Tottenham Hotspur, George, that's the only thing I care about. Like, I think we're getting too bogged down on, I hate this person, I love this person. Just do what's the best for Tottenham. That's what I care about right now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I feel like we just need to focus on what is best for Tottenham, what is best for the club, and what is best to get us in a way where we're going to be playing good football next season. We're going to be performing on the pitch, because ultimately, all this other stuff don't matter. What's going on with the hotels don't really matter. What's going on behind the scenes with Peter Charrington, it don't matter. We just need to see good football, good recruitment. And that's the biggest thing for me, is we're seeing all of our rivals start to snap up players, start to make moves in this transfer window. You're seeing Turkey go for £35 million. Not saying that we could have taken these players away from Manchester City, but if we perked up and we start to make some moves earlier, the market isn't going to be as small as it's going to be in a month or two when half of these players are wrapped up. So Spurs need to start making moves, put ourselves in a place where we're actually prepared for the season, because far too often we wait until August, mid-August, start negotiating for players, and there's barely any players available at that point. Everyone else has already chosen their club or in talks with the club that they're going to just, agree terms with and so on. So Spurs need to start making moves, man.
Do you know what? Listen, I completely agree with you. As anything at Spurs, anything we do is clouded in kind of controversy between the fan base. So like last night, George, I literally did a 60-second short. I didn't even say anything controversial, and my YouTube went mad. All I asked was Semenyo. All I said was, I don't mind Semenyo. I think he's better than what we've got. I don't mind it. I think Frank could coach him. Oh my gosh. You would have think I'd suggested me playing at right wing next season. It was some people going, brilliant. He's great. He's getting better. Yeah. He can be coached. Other people going, Savva, your standards are in the mud. This is shit. Levy's got you by the balls. Semenyo, where are you at? Not that I think we'll get it done, because I think Bournemouth will ask for that. They're not just going to sit and lose everyone.
Solanke, yeah, they're going to want a similar fee as they want for Solanke. And that's the thing, is when I was looking at a lot of these players that we're looking at, Semenyo, Semenyo, Pedro, and Bomo, all these players are going to cost around 60 to 65 million pounds. I expect Spurs are going, if they're looking for one of these wingers and they want a Premier League proven one at that, they're going to have to spend 60 to 65 million pounds. Similar, and I suppose the team should be used to it. You spend 65 million on Solanke, we spent 60 million on Richarlison. We know what it's like to go and get a goal scorer in the Premier League. It costs you that amount of money right now. So for the money that is being quoted,
my doctor's calling me. Bear with me 1 second.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine. I'll talk to the stream. So for the money that's being quoted, people, I think Semenyo, you can't go wrong. You generally can't go wrong. It's 60 to 65 million pounds. his goals he's got around 13 goals last season. He got around 7 assists, 20 GA in all competitions. Now, you can't just focus on the stats, but focus on the way that he plays. He plays off the left, he can play off the right, alternative options. He's one player. I think one of the key things for him and what he improves Spurs is Spurs haven't had strong dribblers on the wings. We need someone that can pick up the ball and just carry and glide through the middle. He bulldozes through midfields. He literally just runs through players all by himself. And although Bournemouth have played in the transition, that does help him because usually running into open spaces. I think that Spurs will probably come a bit more of a transition team next season. Semenyo is going to be a player that fits in with Frank's system. So I think that would be a perfect move for me.
Do you know what I like about him as well? And I have to be careful when I use these words. I like men in my team. Like he's a beast. He's a unit.
Yeah.
It's powerful. When I see him driving at people, like, no offense, listen, we know what Brennan Johnson's good at. We know Brennan Johnson's good with getting into the box and scoring goals. But when he gets the ball on the right wing, I never feel like the fullback's going to be worried by him. Semenyo for me is a powerful guy. He will drive directly at people. He also grabs goals. We saw he had really good link-up play with Dominic Solanke, which I think people have got to add into the equation. It's got all a bit sunny here. I quite like it. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone in the chat automatically is going, I prefer Mbeumo. Yeah. Me too. Me too. I prefer Mbeumo. But I just don't know. What do you make of that? Because I feel like if we wanted Mbeumo, we'd have to go in like right now underneath Man United's noses and go, hey, we've got Frank. Come to us. Can you see that, or do you think he's got his mind set on United?
I think his mind's set on Man United, and that's the thing. We might want Mbeumo, and people might think Mbeumo is better, but does Mbeumo want us? It doesn't look like it. He turned away Arsenal and Newcastle, two teams that are in a better position than Tottenham, are competing for competing at a higher level than us. Yeah, we're all playing Champions League, but let's have it right. I think Arsenal and Newcastle are just level above us right now. So if he's turned down those two, why is he gonna come to Spurs just for Frank? All the reports have suggested that he wants Manchester United. He's a man. I think he wants to play for Manchester United. He wants that chance to play for them. I don't think we're gonna have the chance of turning Mbeumo's head right now. Like, I think that he's made his mind up. And unless Frank makes like a strong call to him to say, look, I need you in my club, and Spurs are gonna pay him the same amount of money that Man United are, don't see this still happening. So you got to look at alternatives. And Semenyo would be a very good one for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree. I agree. Also, I don't think, by the way, you guys, listen, loads of you, I think, have just subscribed to George. I think loads of people have just subscribed. So thank you very much. If you haven't, please do keep subscribing to him. Don't forget about little old me as well. None of you have subscribed to me today, you cheeky little gits. Mate, you're absolutely right. And I think one thing I was talking to my uncle about last night, my uncle was actually used to be the head of the academy at Charlton for 20 years. So like he's got his head screwed on and stuff. I say that he'll say I'm cheeky for saying that. He knows his onions. He said to me, "You've got to remember that." He said, when fans are talking about, I like this player, I like that player. He said, you've now brought in a coach who may not go for the popular opinion, but may go for the player that he thinks, I can work with this player better. His temperament's better. He fits my system better. And I think, listen, I don't know if we can get a Semenyo because I think Bournemouth are losing what? They've lost Houston. They're losing Kirkes. Looks like they could lose Zabanyi to PSG. Yeah. I can't see that they're just going to keep going. Go on, all of you. Just go on, have our team ripped apart. If we did get him, I think why couldn't he do with a Semenyo what he's just done with Mbeumo? Why couldn't he do that? He's a great
They're very
coach.
similar players in the play that the way that they carry the ball. They're strong runners. They look to take advantage on those wing positions. But I think the one bit where Semenyo falls a bit short for me, and when I watch Mbeumo, is the difference is that final third decision making. I don't think Semenyo is a clean striker of a ball, nor does he make the best decisions in the final third. Though he is good, just not as good as Mbeumo. I feel like Mbeumo in the last year really matured, and you could see that every time he gets into the final third, he's always making the right decision, always looking to, create for someone, if not shoot for himself. And he's very clinical in making that decision, whether he's going to choose to pass or shoot. But Semenyo, he seems to have that delay about him sometimes choose to shoot when he should probably pass and the other way. But he's still learning, man, still young players. And I think that's the thing about both of these is they're both only 25. I think he just turned 25 at that. So he's not old. He's not like he's Grealish or someone who's 29, who's going to have 1 or 2 years at Spurs and then he's going to have to look to move on. Semenyo could have a long career at Tottenham and still just improve just as much as he has the last 2 or 3 years, because every year he's getting better and better. Why not at Spurs would he not go on to score now 10 to 15 goals in the Premier League? I'd expect that of him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And listen, two players I want to talk about before we go and look at which awards we're going to win. I think me and you are going to have a clean sweep of all these awards. I hope there's like a cash prize from Ash and Marlon. I hope like it's a yearly, all of their revenue for the year comes to us. Two players I want to talk about, probably the more high profile players. You can't suggest Spurs having a good window without this man's name being mentioned, Eze. Now, George, I'm not going to lie. If Daniel Levy gets me Eze, me, look at me, how selfish, what a narcissist. If he gets me Eze, just me. If he gets us Eze, I'll lay off that guy for a year. I'm like, cool, yeah, you've got us Eze.
Yeah.
This is the guy that I think everyone wants, right? This is the sort of guy for me that changes the complexion of a team. Why not? Why can't we go and get an Eze?
I think we can. I think it's the price that stops Tottenham from, because I think when you look at it is if you get Eze, and this is where the problem is going to be, is why can't you get Eze and another player like Pedro, like Semenyo at that level? Why can't you get both rather than why is it got to be Eze or? Because, yeah, look, I get we have Maddison and Kulu, and probably with Eze coming into that fold, one of the three have to go. You can't have all three of those players competing for one position, because they can all, Kulu can go off the right, Eze can play off the left and all these things. Just don't think all three of them are going to work in the team together. Now, when I look at him as a player, he's the maverick that Spurs thought they was getting with Maddison. Maddison's not that player anymore. I think 4 years ago at Leicester, he was that player. But when you talk about Eze right now, coming into the prime of his career, he's not young. Eze's 26, I think he is. So he's coming into that prime of his career. He just led Crystal Palace to an FA Cup. He's just had one of his very good seasons in goals and assists. I think this year before, he may have been a bit stronger when Elise was there, because both of them were going crazy, but still had a very strong year. I think Eze is ready for that step. But more importantly, like I said, Spurs were interested in him last season. Why didn't we get him last year? Nobody knows. But this year, he is available. I think Crystal Palace will be open to selling him out of all their players, because the attacking players are easier to replace. But it's that we all always know what the sticking point is. It's Spurs are money, man. We know where it is, Savva. It's going to be, will Spurs want to pay the money? We already know that Crystal Palace's Steve Parish is one, just like Daniel Levy, one of the hardest negotiators in the Premier League. So it's going to be a tough deal to make happen. And that's where I'm like a bit hesitant as to whether it will. I'd only see teams that are willing to pay the 65 million, maybe, and he's going to say something like, I want 30 million up front. We know how stupid Parish is going to be to make this deal happen. So it's just going to be
the thing is, though, a signing like that, because like I said yesterday, and I'm interested to know what you think and everyone in the chat. Eze for me reminds me of when you played football in the street, when you played football in the playground, and you always had that one kid that stood out, and he just had this great ball control, and he dribbled past everyone, and he plays it like he's almost like, for me, a better version of what Will Zaha was. I think he's more a central figure than what Will Zaha was. But he certainly would, I think, George. I don't want to say unite the fan base, because this fan base I don't think has ever been united. But I think it would be the one signing where we all go, yep. We can all argue about Semenyo. We can argue about this centre-back and that full-back. I don't think any Spurs fan's going to turn their nose up at Eze. So for me, I'd love to see Spurs, Levy, Paratici, whoever is in charge these days, go and make that happen. Just if it's 30 million up front, put the 30 million up front. It would certainly change the dynamic for me.
Yeah, that's it there. I feel like Spurs just need to show ambition in one of these windows. Go and get a player that, especially, look, we're going into Champions League now. Spurs are serious about obviously not, maybe not. We know we're not going to win Champions League next season, but just competing in the Champions League, you know, getting through to that second phase where the money's going to be, Daniel Levy. Ultimately, the money's in that second phase, whether you're going to get that extra 50 million bump or so. So if Spurs are serious about doing that and actually having some level of competition next season, we need to go and get players like Eze. And you can't stop there. That's the thing. You got to go out there and spend a few players like Eze, because our team's some way off at the moment, especially in the attack.
Yeah. Listen, a Sinner PS, I think that there's a massive thing that you're missing here. There's a massive sticking point. You've got to remember that we're not going to be playing the same style of football that we did under Angepostecoglou. This is a different coach. Listen, I think as fans, we need to get away from this. Well, if you get Eze, what's it mean for Maddison? Nah, I want all of them. Like, we've got 4 competitions. Man City don't go, oh, let's not buy Mamouche. We've already got Doku and Savio and Foden. Man City go, yeah, let's get him. Oh, we bought Mamouche. Tell you what, let's go and get Rayan Cherki as well, right? We've got to get away from this. Well, we can't sign him because we've got him and Kulu and guys, because the same people that say this will be the same people, George, that next year will go, oh, but we've got no depth. You've got to have multiple players, right, in multiple positions. That's the manager's job to make that work.
Yeah, that's the thing there. And I do agree to some extent. Like, there is certain players that may not be able to have as much game time. And when you sign, like I say, I think the only thing with Kulu is I think Kulu's probably going to be out for the whole of the year, obviously, with his surgery and so on. He probably won't be coming back until late December, maybe January, because the injury you picked up is not an easy one as well. It's one that's going to take time for recovery. So maybe they're probably forgetting, just, you know, one of those ones. We could sign a Cam when Kulu comes back. We can see what happens with Kulu, because we won't be able to sell him this summer. And I'm a big fan of him. I think he's better than Maddison for me. So I think under Frank, especially in a transition style football, you'll probably see a better style of him. But yeah, no doubt about that. Like, we need to sign players that ultimately going to become, these first team players need to become depth, and then we sign better players than them. And like the likes of Bentancur, maybe not be playing as many games last season, but he's going to be coming off the bench and he's no longer relied upon. He's going to have better performances when he's coming off the bench because we got a better 6. And that's the key position, Savva, man. I feel like we need to make sure that 6 is signed this season, because we've been hearing the rumors that Spurs are looking into a 6, but they've said this for years now. I know Thomas Frank definitely plays with one, but who's that going to be and what level it's going to be? That's the question.
Yeah, look, I completely agree with you. And by the way, yeah, it does look, I've seen the reports that Kulu's going to miss till November, December, something like that. So, So at the moment, it does just leave you with Maddison as creativity, and Maddison himself is going to miss most of pre-season, right? With an injury, so you've got to get something in there. And what we can't do is we can't be going into Champions League games where we've got no creativity. What we saw in the final, you're not going to be able to do that against better teams. Better teams than Man United will punish you. Even Man United, if they get Gyökeres, Mbeumo and Cunha as a front three, you know, that is scary. They would have punished us. I want to talk to you about one more player. And by the way, just quickly, before we do that, when you're talking about the number 6, there's a lot of talk about Hjulmand from Sporting Lisbon, who I think is a really good player. And I think what we're going to see, I think we're going to see a lot of links, definitely with the Danish, Scandinavian market with Thomas Frank. But he knows his players. You look at the likes he's taken to Brentford and made them good players, the likes of Janelt, Norgard, Damsgaard. You know, he knows how to get the best out of them. So would you be surprised to see a few Højbjerg types come into the club?
No, I wouldn't. I think I already saw, even prior to, we saw Froholt as well, that central midfielder from the Super League that was linked to us as well a few weeks ago. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Spurs will be looking at a lot of these Scandinavian players. You do tend to pick up some gems within that area. I mean, we've already got Bergvall, we've got Kulu, and if you look around right now, you've got players like Isak and so on. They're coming up right now. A lot of those players and those nations are improving with their level of players that they've got available. So no doubt, I think we'll see a lot of them. And that Hjulmand, like I said, from Sporting, he does look like a good player. He does look like a good option. So I wouldn't be against it.
Just quickly, people, just some news. So Fabrizio Romano has just said that Igor Tudor has been confirmed as the new Juventus manager. and also that Pep Linders has been appointed as Man City's new assistant coach, for anyone that cares, and that Man City and Lyon have signed all the documents for Rayan Cherki, 36 million euros. That is how you go and get a top player very cheap, Jules, isn't it? 36 million euros.
Absolute bargain. Like when people actually watch him play in the Premier League, they're gonna see that Man United have had the steal of the century with this player. Like for 35 million euros or whatever it is, to get him, he's gonna come in and have some big impact. So. And the biggest thing for him is it takes all that pressure off. You know, you have those players that come in with that, Wirtz is going to come in and instantly, as soon as he has a bad game, 150 million costs you this, 150 million this. He's going to have that, like, just that's a stain on his name for the price that he cost. Cherki's not going to have that. So, yeah. No doubt, man.
And he creates moments of magic. I mean, that goal he scored the other night against Spain, he flicked it up for himself and just volleyed it in from 20. I want that. But listen, Man City, we'll move back Spurs, but Man City, 36 million euros for him. Was it 45 million euros for Reinders? 36 million, I believe, for a new, like I tell you what, they spend money, but some smart signings. I fancy them this year. I'm going early. I'm going early, George. I
said I think they're going to win it. I think they win it back next season, man. Like with Rodri coming back, that's already a jump level stepper. And then you've got all these players coming in on top of Rodri that are going to be playing in front of him. You've now got Rodri with a midfield of Reinders and potentially Cherki ahead of him. And then you got Marmoush and Haaland and then Savva. Like it's just options upon options. Man City are going back. They're going back. They're winning.
A player I think is getting better and better. People, I'm going to use a phrase that I'm not really cool enough to use. People are sleeping on him. I love that. All these young sayings that I'm just not cool enough to throw around. I think Doku is getting better and better. I think he's starting to learn when to pull the ball back and when to do his step overs. So I think City will win it. I'm going early. There you go, everyone. I've gone. Man City are going to win the league this year. George, one player before we have a look at some of these awards. Grealish. Now, Jack Grealish is one of those where a lot of people wanted him, obviously, 6 years ago now when Tottenham didn't quite get him. Reports that he might be available on loan. Man City definitely want to get rid of him. Where are you at with Grealish?
I'm not a big fan of Grealish anymore. I was, like I said, we're talking about the Grealish of Aston Villa days. I was a huge fan of him. I liked his ball carrying, his dribbling, the way that he was like as a maverick for them. He would do everything behind the striker. He'd go for going off the left, go off the right. And he just moved with the ball gracefully. He was really good and just a natural creator at that point where he would do anything just to try and create a goal for Aston Villa. Now, at this point in his career, he's an absolute shadow of himself. He just does the job that Pep Guardiola asked him for him to do. He's a very much a ball retention type of player. At 29 years of age, he's going to turn 30 this season. He's not a player that Spurs should be looking at. He's also played, I think, it was 700 minutes this season in the Premier League. He doesn't play. Like, he's barely available.
Do you not think he could get a second wind? Do you not think like you come to Spurs and he'd be a bit more of a... At Villa, for me, he was the big fish in the small pond. When you go to City, I think unless you are Haaland, Rodri, or De Bruyne, you're a little fish in a big pond. Do you not think if he came back to Spurs, it might be a bit more of a, hey, he's the senior guy. He's a bit more, give me the ball, let me do it. Because I like him. I'll be honest, I like him.
I think he would be that way, but at the same time, I think he's shown during his time at Manchester City, he just can't be relied upon. He doesn't get many goals. Like you said, if you look at his numbers, he's got like 3 goals a season for the past 4 or 5 years. Also, I'm not going to lie, I think he'd just be a bad influence. I think a lot of his time is at Manchester City where he hasn't been played is because there's been all stuff behind closed doors between him and Pep Guardiola, whether he's been serious, him and some of his other problems away from the game. I don't think he'd be a good influence on some of our very young squad that we have, the likes of Archie Gray, Mikey Moore, some of the younger players. I don't think the combination of him and Maddison will go well. Him and Maddison, little party boys, they could just be outside after every game going out party. I don't think that combination is well. It'd be a good night out, no doubt. It'd be a good night out. Maybe too many good nights out. That's the problem.
I'd like to have a night out with Grealish and Maddison and say, lads, I've left my wallet at home. Have you got this? Have you? Can you cover all the bottles of Cristal, please? Because you know you guys are millionaires. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? By the way, listen, we're, guys and girls, we're about to have a lot of names linked with Tottenham Hotspur. We're gonna have a lot of names. We're gonna see what's happened this morning already. I've seen that by Frank coming in, it's putting the Matisse Tell deal in a bit of jeopardy because maybe he doesn't want it. So I don't think we should believe everything that we hear, but it does look like we're starting to move. It does look like we're starting to move. By the way, someone just said to me that Man City's defense is aging and the midfield's got gaps. Guys, I don't think you're realizing in the last 2 windows, Man City have just bought Nico Gonzalez and Reinders as new midfielders, right, with legs. They bought in Kusanov, Reece, Nuri. Right, I think, you know, Vardiol for me will switch into a centre back, and I think he's brilliant, guys. I think you've got all those Man City fans that wanted Pep out. There's no one I want doing a rebuild more than Pep Guardiola. Yeah, let me ask you, George. There's going to be players going out, so I'll come to this in a minute, Rob. There's going to be players going out, and I think we're going to need to raise a bit of cash as well. Yeah. What would you do with Richie, Romero, Son? Because right there, I'll tell you why I use those 3. I use those 3 because right there for me, that's 130, 140 million pound in sales right there. What do you make of that?
I think that obviously with the rumored reports that have been going around for a very long time that Romero's future was tied into Ange's future. If Romero wants to go, let him go. I think Romero is a good player. I think he's a senior player. We've also seen that he's been named captain of the Argentina squad after Messi and Otamendi. So clearly he has that respect at that level. I think he is a leader of some sort, maybe not in the way that we probably need at times. But Romero is one of those players who, if he wants to go, I'm willing to let go because he is up and down himself. His performance aren't consistent across this season. It's probably been one of his poorest seasons in a Spurs shirt. Now, in the Europa League, he was good for us, but away from that, just never performed at the required level. So if he wants to go, get rid of him. Like you said, he'll bring in a good 50, 60 million. Sonny, I think his time is up. I think I've seen you say on shows before that, like, I don't want to get rid of Sonny. I think Sonny's earned his keep, that if he wants to stay at Spurs, he can stay at Spurs for as long as he wants, whether that's just give him a contract to be behind closed doors or not. I just don't want him to have a much of a playing role next season. He shouldn't be relied upon to play. If he wants to come off the bench in some games, you know, in the Champions League for 20, 30 minutes, cool, that's fine. Come off the bench. But away from that, don't think Sonny should be having a first team impact or in that first 11 next season. And then
if you're gonna have a new era, let's have a new era, right? If you're gonna start again. Can I just say, George, one thing you said about Romero is everyone always gets me wrong on this. I like Romero. He's a good defender. I've never ever subscribed to this fact that he is a top defender because for me it's too patchy. My biggest worry is another one that is never fit. And at the moment, you've got him and Van der Ven that both can't stay fit. If you're going to build a team, what Frank's done, he's built a team around people like Collins who play every minute for him. Yeah. You know, Vandenberg, Pinnock, these guys are constantly fit for him. I think that's a real worry for Spurs at the back. So I think only my opinion, if Atletico find the money, 60, 70 million euros, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world because I'd rather have somebody the next notch down from Romero, but plays every week than Romero who doesn't play every week. Yeah. Does that make sense?
And just gives us consistent level. Like, I'd rather have someone that gives us a 7 out of 10 consistently than an 8, then a 5, then an 8, then a 6. Like, that's what Romero is. He gives you a really good... I just want someone that's going to... And to be fair, Danso could be that guy. I think Danso looks like a good defender. I don't know whether he's willing to step in those shoes as of yet and be the first team defender. I think Spurs should go out there and look for someone to come in and perform at that level. But he does look like he could be ready to have some impact there. So Danso looks decent. I don't think Spurs need to look too far and wide for a centre-back. But Richarlison, he needs to go, man. Richarlison's just needs to go. He's had his fun. He lifted his trophy. He can say that he's had a good time at Spurs. He's done his job, whatever he wants. But send him back to Everton. I heard they won him 30, 40 million. We'll take half the money. Like, Richarlison's an absolute dud, man.
Do you know what I think? First of all, on the Danso point, I tell you what, Danso for me in a proper back four which hasn't got a crazy high line seems like just a good, honest, solid. He seems to me like a Michael Dawson type.
Yeah,
Honest, solid, never going to make PFA team of the year type player, but week in, week out, and he's bloody good in the air. He puts his head on everything. Richarlison for me, I think him and Everton are like a match made in heaven for me. I think he's the perfect David Moyes type striker. And I think he'd go there and do a good job. All of the shithousery, the working hard. Just at Spurs, I want a little bit more than shithousery.
I need technical ability. I don't just need someone that runs hard. Like, that's not good enough.
Exactly. So I think there is money to be made. And by the way, that's not even taking into account, 15, 20 million for Solomon, Brian Hill, Højbjerg will be going. There's money coming in there. I truly think Spurs could make 200 plus million this summer from sales, which allows us to go and say, right, okay, we want Eze and Semenyo, for example. So I think that there's going to be, I feel like we're going to have a lot of content to create this summer, George. I think this squad's going to look very different come August. Captaincy. What happens with a captaincy for you? Like if Romero goes and Sonny goes, what are we doing? Is Maddison assuming captaincy?
No, I think Frank comes in and makes his own captain. I think he'll come in, he'll probably see the team, evaluate the squad, see where they're at, and then have to come in and appoint his own captain. Now, I don't actually think that captain will be Maddison. I don't think he's going to be the player that he looks to now. I know Maddison's respected within the squad, so he may just be like, look, Maddison's going to be the captain. But away from that, I feel like we need a proper leader. I don't know if we have that at Tottenham right now, and that's probably where the questions lie. But where we look at captain, I mean, Vicario could be an option. Vicario, he looks like he could be, but I'm not a player. I'm not a guy that likes goalkeeper as captains. We had Hugo Lloris for many years, and I was never a fan of it. So
agreed.
I think we need someone that's on the pitch. Bentancur looks like, I think he said he's part of the leadership group, but again, Bentancur, I don't know about his long-term future of being a first-team player for Spurs. I think he could be a depth player, but I don't know if Bentancur is good enough to actually be the number 8 that we need in the Champions League. So, yeah, man, it's a tough question. It's a tough question. Kulusevski could be one, but again, he's not available till halfway through the end, like until November, December anyway. So he's going to have to appoint a captain for the start of the season. I don't know who that's going to be.
I reckon he brings someone in. I've got a feeling, and again, I could be right, I could be wrong. That's how life works. I've got a feeling that he'll go out and buy a couple of leaders, one at the back, one in midfield. I think he'll want to put. Look, we've already seen him wax lyrical about this squad before he was appointed manager, right? We've seen him go, oh, look at this player and that player. I also think this guy will know that we need some experience. I think he will understand that as well as some youth. And I think what he'll do, I think he'll uplift everyone's game by 10, 15, 20% just by not making us wide open, George.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So I'm excited. I mean, look, I'm not like, oh my God, we're in a title challenge. I'm just excited that we've got a guy that I don't think is going to make us, I don't know. Lots of clubs seem to be coming to Spurs and beating us without really doing a lot. I think he's going to make us a difficult team to play against, even if we lose games. And that's all I can ask for at this stage.
Yeah, he's shown with his record against the top 6 that he's very difficult to play against. And I think I watched in the interview, he said it himself that like one of his best abilities is adaptability. He likes to be able to change, and he thinks managers need to be able to adapt. So it's like you said there, I think he's going to make us a lot harder to beat, but also we're going to see a different style and different versions of Tottenham in different games. And that's what I like to see. I want to see us not just approach the game in the same way and just watch us lose. No, like the amount of games that we watched this season that we're sitting there, we're going, Ange, we can see that this is going wrong. What can you not see?
Do something.
Do something. We're getting mad. I think with Frank, it's going to see that little bit of differences. I think we've seen even with Amrim, although he's been poor at Man United, when you see mid-game, Amrim's there making changes. He's with his little tactical board. He's going, look, we're going to make 3 subs. We're going to change this player. We're going to change. I like that side of managers, what they're making these changes in-game. Yeah. They're trying to adapt. And that's what I want to see from Frank. So I look forward to that side of his game, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, and I don't know, this might piss a few people off. Have you seen, there's a video going around this morning of Jason Kunde. Obviously no one likes him at Spurs, and Jamie O'Hara. It's 4 minutes long, and Jason Kunde literally rips apart Ange's tenure in 4 minutes. And Jason O'Hara's sitting there going, oh, but the players, they didn't do him any favors. And Frank will have the same players and the same problems. And Jason Kounde's going, no, because he's saying Frank is a good manager. Frank won't allow them to play that way that Ange. Frank won't allow them to sit and get ripped apart week in, week out. He will coach and he will manage. And it's a really good watch. I'm just wary of time, Jules. I know you've got an 11, right?
Yeah. I've got a meeting at 11. Literally.
Just aware. So when you need to jump, you just tell me and jump off. And just quickly, what do you want to see next year in terms of the last bit I want to talk about is the fullbacks? Because we know that Frank can float between a 4 and a 3 at the back, i.e. wing backs. Do you think he'll stick with Porro and Udogie, who aren't out and out fullbacks? Do you think he'll stick with them if he plays a back 4, or use them more if he plays a wing back system? Can he coach them to be better defenders?
Yeah, I think he can coach Udogie to be better defender. I don't think I think he's beyond coaching. Porro's just one of those players that are so caught up in the attacking side of the game. I think he just loves attacking. So as a wing back, I think Porro could be very useful for Frank. But as a fullback, I think he might opt to choose maybe Spence, or he might want to bring in another fullback. So that's what I think. I think he'll adapt the players depending on the games and the system he's using. I think he's going to have to bring in another few fullbacks though. There's no doubt that Spurs need left back, but I think he might actually opt to bring in another right back because Pedro Porro's attacking ability is so good, but he's defensively just a bit of a mess. If we want to make ourselves better, Spence could be an option. I think he'll look at Spence. I think Spence is probably going to be the player that will grow underneath him the most. And if he is to choose a right back, it's probably better to go off with Spence earlier on because Spence has a lot of room to grow. So we could see him playing. But again, some questions are about Spence with regards to his defense. I think he's good with the 1v1 defending when there's a player running at him and he's just in that battle, but his positioning is poor. Now, positioning is something that's probably easier coached into a player than that 1v1 battle. So I think with Spence, he just needs more coaching on the defensive side of things and he'll be good. But with regards to Porro, I just think he's a lost cause. I'm not going to lie. Like he does so many stupid things with the back.
Such a good footballer, just never a right back. For me, he's technically sound. He's brilliant going forward. But whenever I watch him, I go, that's a man that doesn't want to defend either. Some people live to defend. He don't want to defend. So I'm just really conscious of the time for you. So just
I'll literally go in a minute. But no, just on that point there, if people watch Spence's interview with Rio Ferdinand, one of the things he actually said that was key that I loved about him, he said he's a defender that gets a high off doing those challenges. Like he likes to do a last-ditch challenge. He likes to get in a battle. He doesn't care about getting an assist. He prefers the defending side of the game. And that's what I like. That's what I like about Spence. And that's why I think he'll opt for it. So, yeah, man. Big up to Sav, though. I appreciate you having me on. As always, we'll definitely do another show real soon. Make sure you smash the likes, people. Make sure you subscribe to Football Heritage TV for all of the good stuff. But I appreciate you having me on, man.
And listen, all good. Listen, there's the link. Look, I think I don't know. I think you might have got 100 or so odd subscribers in the last hour or so. I think you have. I'm just looking at your numbers, 2.31.
Yeah, it's gone up, guys, it's gone up 40, 50, man. Big up, people. Big up. I don't think I've gone up by 40 or 50 in a day in a long time. So big up to everyone. I appreciate it for real.
800 exactly of you in here right now. 800. If 50% of you, if 25% of you went over right now, yeah, you can get this man another 200. There's the link. Come on, people, show some love. If you watch him and you don't like him, unsubscribe. But go and show the love. Get him on your list. Come on, people. Listen, George, enjoy your day. And many people are saying an announcement in imminent. So we'll see. George, whenever you want to come on, you just message me, man.
No, for sure. We'll definitely be back, man. Have a good one, Savva. Have a good one. Chat.
Take care, man. See you later, bro. Take care. Right, big up to George, fantastic content creator. There is his link. So please smash that button for George. I think it's really important that you know what? I just think content creators should help each other out. Too much time trying to knock each other down rather than lift each other up. Let's help each other. There's the link. It's in there. I'm going to change the link that's pinned back to mine. We have just gone over 18,403 now. So thank you so much for everybody that has subscribed to me as we chase down the 20K, hopefully by the end of the summer. My link is now pinned again. And we're going to have a little look at what Spurs Kings TV have put together. Those boys over there, shall we? Let's replace that pinned message. Before we do anything, so they're just at the Spurs training ground with Michael Bridge on Sky Sports News. God knows what they're talking about. I'm guessing the imminent arrival of Thomas Frank. But big ups to El Tel. Go over and subscribe to my man Jose as well. El Del Gocorel. Great guy. Please go over and subscribe to him. And Mark has gifted 1 Football Heritage TV membership. Very, very generous indeed. Let's start a super sticker train. We did this yesterday. Big up to you, Mark. Very generous indeed. Whoever got that membership, please thank Mark. I'm sure you have. Big up to Marios. Thank you very much out there in Cyprus with the super sticker. Thank you very much. Really, really do appreciate you. Thanks, Marios. Tweak. Again, another Football Heritage TV membership that's been given out. Thank you. There's going to be a members-only show. Will I do it this afternoon? It all depends on what news breaks with Frank. So it might be tomorrow. It'll be this afternoon or tomorrow. I'll let you know. It will definitely be this week. So thank you very much, Tweak, for that. Really appreciate that. George with the super sticker, always very generous. Big up to you, George. Much love to you. Thank you very, very, very much. And the same goes to Rob Frank. Thank you very, very much for that as well. Much appreciated to all of you guys. By the way, James Trafford is in talks with Newcastle to go there. So they'll have James Trafford from Burnley and Nick Pope. So interesting. 2 English goalkeepers there vying for that position. Big up to each and every one of you. Where are we at on the likes? Come on, guys. Should be on 500. We're on 336. There's 778 of you in here. 336 likes. We should be on way more than that. And on the poll, we said, are you excited about the new era at Spurs? Yes, 75%. No, 8%. And 18% have said, meh. I've seen it all before. Big up to you. Should we have a little look at what those lovely chaps at Spurs Kings TV have done? Let's have a look, shall we? Where is it? Here's the YouTube Content Creator Awards. Let me just make sure that I don't get my personal email address in there because that's normally at the top. Right. There's a difference between my personal email address and my Football Heritage TV one. So, can I blow that up? Can I blow that up to get that a bit bigger? There we go. Right. Here we go. These are pretty funny. Everyone in the chat. Now, when we're going to go through these, I won't have anything bad said about any creator. There's no need. We can talk about it, but no need for anybody to have a go at anybody else, right? If you don't like a content creator, just keep your opinions yourself. But I thought these were really, really interesting. And well done to Asher Marlon, because they have managed to get everybody involved, which I think is really, really good. I think they've got nearly every Spurs channel I can think of involved. So fair play to them. And they're doing their own little mini awards that people can vote for. And the first one is the GOAT Award. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Where is Football Heritage TV? I know. I can't believe it. Where is Football Heritage TV? Just kidding, right? So the GOAT Awards, I love this. The GOAT Award. It's so funny, that word. Expressions oozing. I mean, not expressions. Look, look at expressions. He's gone beyond YouTube, isn't he? He's a phenomenon and a character. We are Tottenham TV. Obviously, the brothers have built a mammoth channel down there. Mammoth channel. Big up to Sim and Ben. Created a beast of a channel there. I know their viewers don't really like me, but listen, what they've built, a lot of hard work goes into that. Big up to my boy Ricky Sachs over at Last Word on Spurs. Again, he's built a very big channel, got himself on Sky Sports, so he's another one for the GOAT Award. Chris Cowlin, again, built a mammoth channel, keeps everyone informed. I don't know Chris at all, by the way, but again, hats off. Anybody in this game that builds a channel that big, massive. The Fighting Cocks, Flav and those guys, right? Again, Flav, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but a fantastic creator, speaks very, very well. Notice there's a difference. Just because I don't agree with him doesn't mean I can't appreciate him as a content creator. Flav comes across very, very well on TalkSport and things like that. But me and him have very different views on football. But Flav from the Fighting Cock, my boy Tobes. I love Tobes. I've liked Tobes for years and years and years. We did stuff together before, when I just started a channel and he didn't even have one. Big ups Tobes, obviously smashing it up there on the Big Six. So a great accolade for him to be put in there as well. Fuad, big fan of Fuad. I've worked with Fuad a number of times. Really good content creator, really nice guy, importantly as well. So listen, big up to Fuad. Obviously, him and Tobes done loads of work together in the past. And Ali Gold. Listen, Ali Gold's got to be in there, right? For the amount of content that he provides to all of the Spurs fans over and over again. So big up to Ali Gold as well. And let's see who gets that. Obviously, guys and girls, you know, I'm going to put the link of where you can find all this, by the way. Let me just bear with me. I'll copy the link. Right. The link, if you want to vote for all of these categories, by the way, there it is. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. It's there. For anyone that wants to vote, it's there, okay? So that would really help out Asher Marlon. While you're there, smash that button and subscribe to them. Let's go down to the next one, shall we? Best Tottenham channel of the year. Well, there's only one to vote for, isn't there? I only see one name. Football Heritage. I'm just kidding. Again, last one on Spurs. Again, built their channel massively. The likes of Ricky Sachs, Lee McQueen, all of those guys over there. Big up to them. The likes of Patrick, all of them. Big up to those lads. Tottenham away, Stel, Iggy, JP, Mari. You know, they've always got guests, Liam, Maz, and Lubo, who are just always in there. Again, they built a big channel, over 30k subscribers now. They're doing their thing. Listen, I don't agree with everything that they all say, but I've worked with them. They've worked with me. I think we've all helped each other. So good luck to those boys at Tottenham away. Football Heritage TV. Obviously, I can't sit here and big myself up. I'm there. Spurs Talk Show. Sean, again, lots of these channels all come at it from a real different angle. And I like that. I really like that these channels come at it from a different angle. Sean, very analytical, wants to look at the financial side of it. He likes to sit there and hear each of the arguments and then bring forward debates based on those arguments, which I really like. Chris Cowlin, again, we talked about him. We know what he's all about. The Extra Inch podcast. I'm so sorry. I don't think I've watched it. I'm sorry, not in any bad way. I don't watch too many. But the Extra Inch Spurs podcast, big up. I'm going to go and check these ones out that I don't know. So big up to them. The View from the Lane from The Athletic. Again, The Athletic, just for me, I don't think they should be in there for a best Tottenham channel of the year, if I'm brutally honest. But hey, big up to them. And then you've got Ali Gold on his own, and then Gold and Guest Talk Tottenham. So some really good channels in there. And again, guys, go in, smash whoever you like. Listen, I'm not bothered about winning these awards. I just think it's great that Marlon and Ash have put together these awards for people. If we move on to the next one, this excites me more. Breakout Creator of the Year, because here's what I'll say, guys. People don't wake up and have 20,000 subscribers. Expressions didn't wake up and have 500,000 subscribers. The boys at We Are Tottenham TV didn't wake up and, oh my God, there's 180,000. There's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes. And people that are starting out, this is where all the hard work comes into play, right? I'm still on my journey. I'm probably a few years down the line from some of these people, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's so much work that goes into it. So big up to everyone on this list. Kate and Jim, obviously they've got their daytime show. Kate and Jim, again, they bring a different spin to things, don't they? Kate is probably a bit more harsh on Spurs. Jim's probably a bit more happy about Spurs, and then it kind of works. It brings all together in the middle. Got a lot of time for Kate and Jim as well. I speak to them individually about stuff that isn't football. Really nice people. So Kate and Jim for Breakout Creators of the Year. Watch this space. Deji, what can you say about Deji? He's funny. He's very, very funny as a creator, isn't he? Listen, Deji, if anybody knows how to go onto these other channels and rile people up. He knows how to rile people up. So, but again, when you have a one-on-one conversation with Deji, he's very good, very knowledgeable. He likes to wind people up, but he's got good content. I like Deji. So we'll see. Maybe Deji gets it. And he's always talking about shaking bums. Shaking his bum. Big up to you, Deji. An Echo of Glory. I like this podcast. Whenever I've watched them, I don't know any of them personally, by the way. I don't know any of them. I'm no one to judge. I like watching them. Very calm conversation. I like watching them. So get over to An Echo of Glory if you can and watch them. I think they have some good content. Probably deserve to be on a bit more subscribers than they're on. Sonny Talk Spurs. Listen, I've seen Sonny. I disagree with a lot of what Sonny says. I do think Sonny probably blows like the wind a little bit, but comes across really well, talks very clearly, gets himself on TalkSport. Again, don't agree with his opinions, but seems like a good content creator. He's working his way. So good luck to Sonny as well. Paul for the Hotspur Hippie. Obviously, Paul and I are very different in opinions, but he's building his thing. He's building his channel over there. He's got his audience that buy into him, that believe in what he says. And he's doing his thing. And he works hard at it. Forget whether or not me and Paul have got on. But he works very hard at it. He's built something that works for him. And he'll continue to build something that works for him. Whatever our difference is, he loves Spurs to his bone. He loves Spurs to his bone. So good luck to him on that one as well. Ben Bowman, again, another one. I don't agree with a lot what Ben says. I think Ben gets caught up in the hype of every single signing is going to be world class and everyone fixes Spurs. But what I do like about Ben is he will break things down. He does go into breaking down content, having a look at players, where can they fit in? He looks at the tactical side of it. And I admire that. He's working his way up. He's got a good following. He does a lot of content. Big up to Ben. Barnaby, I don't know Barnaby at all, by the way. I've seen a little bit of Barnaby's content. Seems to be growing. Seems to be liked by a lot of people. Seems cool, calm, collected. I don't know a lot about Barnaby, but fair play to him. He's doing his thing and growing. So any one of them could win this Breakout Creator of the Year. And then also Spurs, Jim. Again, Jim, I don't agree with a lot of Jim's takes, but what I do like is I think Jim is a very cool customer. He is very, very chilled out. He breaks things down and he gives reasoning. I like reasoning. I really do like creators that give reasoning. So I like Jim. I need to work with Jim. I think he's a good guy. And we'll see who wins that one. Best tactical breakdown. Spurs Kings TV. Again, you know that they put this together. Ash, Marlon. Ash loves to break stuff down. And you know what? That takes time. When you see him putting together his videos and his clips and his highlight reels, that takes time. That takes dedication. And he likes to break it down. I like that. Same with Ben. As I said before, don't agree with Ben's opinions, but I like him as a content creator. Also Spurs, again, good tactical analysis. They like to have the in-depth conversation about tactics, and I'm a big fan of tactics, right? So I like listening to also Spurs as well. Lily White Lab, I'll be honest, I don't really know Lily White Lab. I'm so sorry. Let me have a look. Maybe I do, but just not by name. 1 second. Lily White Lab. I don't know if I know them. Let me just see if I do. I don't know these guys. I need to go and watch these guys. Good luck to them. Sorry, no offense. I can't watch every channel. Let's go and I'll have a look. I'll have a look at you guys, Lily White Lab. And if you see this, apologies, no offense. There are going to be a few that I probably don't see. Look, Tottenham away again. Stell is someone who likes to break it down, especially. Obviously, we know he's got his coaching badges. He's got his tactical analysis. He's worked in football, breaks things down very, very well. So again, he's another one, a bit like Ash, that likes to look at the tactical side of the game, likes to go a little bit deeper into that. So I like that. So big up to him. Dave, my man, featuring for the first award for him. I'm sure he's in many other categories. The Irish Hotspur, Dave, good guy, really nice guy. Him and Jack, top lads. Again, I don't agree with everything Dave says, but Dave and I speak away from YouTube. He's a top lad. And I think we realize that you don't have to agree to get on with each other, right? So Dave and his show, they like to go deep into some analysis as well. So big up to Dave, the Irish Hotspur, and Jack. Hopefully they do well. Mitch, and I don't really know a lot about Mitch. I see Mitch more on, I get posts sent to me that I think he's more a guy on X and Instagram, maybe. I don't really know, maybe TikTok. I've seen a few of his videos, and again, comes across really well. I don't agree with it. Again, I think he's another one where everything is amazing. Every signing is great. And then when it doesn't work out, every signing is terrible. But I think he comes across really well when he's talking about tactics and analysis. So let's see. And the Extra Inch Spurs podcast as well. I need to do a little bit more digging into them, but I have seen them a few times, and what I've seen, I do like. So, by the way, there's a lot of creators here that put a lot of effort in. Funniest creator. And this is interesting. This is an interesting category for me, right? This is a really interesting category. We all know that expressions is funny, right? It would almost be too easy to just say, give it to X. By the way, have you noticed I haven't said who I would award any of these awards to? I'm just looking in general. Just showing a little bit of love to the Spurs creators. There's never enough love. It's always hate. It's always hate. Let's show some love to the other creators. Go and subscribe to all these channels. Help them, boost them. Deji, we know Deji's funny. We know Deji's funny. We know Expressions is funny. Mr. Box Office, again, Mr. Box Office is, listen, chalk and cheese. Some love him, some don't. I think Alex is hilarious. I think he's funny. And I think, you know what? Alex is one of the creators who stuck to his word from 2 years ago. He's been right about Spurs. Doesn't get enough credit. Told him, do more. I told him the other day, do more on your own channel. You're a good creator. Do more on your own channel and he'll grow. So get over there and subscribe to Mr. Box Office. Elijah cracks me up, man. He does. He's so chilled out. He's so chilled out, Elijah is. Big fan of Elijah's work. He just goes live when he wants, talks about what he wants, doesn't get involved in drama. He just does his thing. Big up to E. I really like E. And he said he'd give me one of the awards, so I'll take it. Big up, E. Big up to you, please. If you haven't subscribed to Too Much of E. Jacob Wolverine Uncensored, the artist formerly known as United Spurs of America. Listen, Jacob does his thing, man. Jacob does his thing. He's funny. He's angry. His analogies about food. Listen, again, there are creators that are going to divide opinion. I think Jacob is one of them, but he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing, right? Everybody's doing their thing. Let them do their thing. I think as long as it never goes over the line, let people do their thing, right? So, Jacob, good luck. Good luck to all of you. Barnaby, again, don't know too much about him, but good luck to Barnaby. And the new Spurs order, I don't know this. Again, apologies. Let's have a look. New Spurs order. Let's have a look. Who are these guys? Maybe I do know them. The new Spurs order. I don't know these guys. Okay, they've just started. They've just started. Good luck to these guys. If they're watching the new Spurs order, yeah, get in touch if you're just watching. Get in touch. Let's work together. Let's see what they're all about. Good luck to those guys. I don't know them, so it's not that I don't think they're funny. I need to go and give it a watch. Who else we got? So good luck to all of them there. Best match day vlogs. We are Tottenham TV. Olafino, Georgia Chiliot and Chris Cowling. I don't know Olafino. I'm so sorry. Let's have a look. Sorry. I'm just trying to educate myself, by the way, here. Olafino Spurs. Let's have a look. Olafino Spurs. Who's this? Olafino. I don't know this channel. Let's have a look. Olafino. Is this a kid? Ah, is this the young kid? He's got 52,000 subscribers, the lad. Go on, the boy. I don't know him. Again, I'll have to look at that. We are Tottenham TV. We know they go all around the world, giving you that content, always giving you match day vlogs before the game, after the game. Same with Chris Cowling. You know what you're going to get. These guys are senior pros when it comes to this. Georgia Chiliot, I don't know George, but I see that he does a lot of work on match day, comes across well. Again, I don't know him. I'm not going to knock any of these guys, by the way, guys and girls. I think that anyone that puts their face to a camera, fair play to you. Big up to all of those. Good luck on the best match day vlog. Let's have a look here, shall we? At Best International Spurs YouTube channel. Some of these I don't know. I don't know Yummy 2. Sorry if that's bad. Yummy 2 Spurs? Yummy 2. I don't know. Korean, right? I don't know her. I don't know her, I'm afraid. So I can't really comment, but good luck to her. The Irish Hotspur, big up, of course, Dave out there in Ireland. Big up to him. And obviously Jack's in America. So, yeah, definitely overseas. We've talked about them. Big up, yeah, Jacob again in America. We just said about his channel. Obviously, Paul's out there in Australia. You've got Mile High Hotspur out there in the US. I don't know Dr. Tottenham. Who are these? Sorry, some of these channels. I need to upskill myself. By the way, I can't know everyone, by the way. Dr. Tottenham. I don't know Dr. Tottenham. Here we go. Let's have a look. No, I'll have to go and have a look. I don't really know that channel, I'm afraid. Who else we got there? We've got Emerald and Lily White. Again, I don't know. I need to Emerald and Lily White. Is it going to come up? Emerald and Lily White. Let's have a look. Emerald and Lily White. It's brand new. I've only got 33 subscribers. So they've just started. Looks like they're in, where are they? Looks like they're in the United States. Okay, I'll have to give that a watch. I'm going to need to go and subscribe to some of these channels, you know. I am subscribing, by the way, to every single one of these channels. Even if they hate me, I think it's really important that we all look out for each other. I don't think we do that enough. I'm going to start let's look out for each other a little bit more, shall we? And then lads, it's Tottenham. I don't know that either. Lads, it's Tottenham. Lads, it's Tottenham. Lads, it's Tottenham. Let's have a look. Lads, it's Tottenham. Okay, all right. They got a good sized channel here. Lads, it's Tottenham. I don't know these guys. Do I know these guys? No, I don't know them. Okay, I'm going to subscribe to them. Subscribe. There you go. They've got another subscriber. Let's see what they're all about. But good luck to all of those. The Best International channel, lads. It's Tottenham are based out of United Kingdom. I'm not sure why they're in the international section, but hey, I don't know. Maybe it's something I don't know. Let's have a look. Best match preview. The Irish Hotspur. We talked about him. Good luck to Dave. Same with last one on Spurs. Same with Chris Cowling. Same with Echo of Glory. Same with the boy Hotspur. Good luck to him. El Del Cockerell. My man Jose. Lads, it's Tottenham, we just said. And the pre-match pump up with We Are Tottenham TV. So good luck to all of them. We talked about all of them. The best match reaction pod. Last one on Spurs. Expressions. The boy Hotspur Hippie. We Are Tottenham TV. Tapping Tobes. I can't believe they didn't. I mean, I'll be honest. Am I not eligible for any of these categories? Asher Marlon. I mean, I'm not expecting to be all of them, but best match reaction, and I'm not there. We Are Tottenham TV, Tapping Tobes, Spurs chat with Chris Cowling, and lads, it's Tottenham. Good luck to absolutely everybody in there as well. Best Spurs show. There you go. Post-match reaction on a Monday, Tottenham away. Now, listen, these boys at Tottenham away, they have they've been doing their Monday night show for years. I think like they're on episode 300 and something million. I don't know. So good luck to those boys as well. Every Monday night, get over and watch them at 8:30. The Spurs review. Spurs review. There I am. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Ash and Marlon. You remembered that I exist. Thank you, lads. Can't believe it. The Spurs review, obviously, that's me on a Sunday night. Then you've got Ashmatic's analysis in Spurs Kings TV. Again, very good. Holly Hotspur, again, really good content creator. I've done some work with Holly in the past. She's a really nice girl. Lady, should I say. I think when I first met Holly, she was a lot younger. Now, obviously, she's grown into a very good content creator. Boardroom Talks. My man, George, for the Durag Diaries. Big up to him. Match Reaction Podcast. By the way, George, I think, is a very underrated creator. For me, I told him, do more on your own and do less on the panel shows. Lots of people that go on panel shows and forget about their own channels. So for me, watch out for Durag Diaries. Please get over there and subscribe. Harry Scarf. I met Harry last year at the Content Creator Awards. Nice young lad. Met his dad. Really nice guy. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Harry. Doing his thing, working his way. Good luck, my man. Beyond the Lane, my boys, the Danalist and Nige Pure Coys. These two, everyone loves them. Really nice guys. So I'm just checking something. Where are we? Sorry, just checking. Confirm I will be out with right. Yeah, good luck to those two. Really nice guys. The Danalist and Nigel Pure Coys. Really cool, really calm, really collected. Hopefully they get some recognition as well. The Spurs Roundup show for the Park Lane podcast. I've not seen this, so I need to have a look. Inside Spurs at TalkSport. I think this might be Abby Summers' show. Not sure, but again, if it is, it's big. It's on TalkSport. Big up to them. Met some of the producers from TalkSport the other day. So big up to them. A View from the Lane with The Athletic. Big up to them. And the Fan Show with Chris Cowlin. Big up to all the creators in that list. And hopefully the Spurs Review gets a view votes on that one as well. Best live streams, watch-alongs. Oh my God, I'm in another category. Ash and Marlon, you're too kind. You're too kind. Henry Talks Football, my boy Henry Wright TV. I'm constantly asked on a daily if me and Henry are still friends. I don't know why, because we haven't streamed together about Spurs for ages. He's doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing. He's making his moves. And I've got no problems with Henry. I don't know why people keep asking me. I'm liking to think Henry would say the same. We talk, we're friends. It's all good. Big up to Henry. We are Tottenham TV. We know about Deji. We've talked about. Same with Durag Diaries. Football Heritage TV. That negative, toxic, fair weather fan. Oh, that's me. Big up to the Irish Hotspur. And then Yummy too. I don't know, but we will have a look at in the future. Chris Cowlin's watch-alongs with Barnaby. And then Only One Flicks. I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Best transfer update. Spurs Talk Show. My boy Sean Butler. Loves it. Loves the transfer story, my boy Sean. You know what Sean does? Sean goes deep. Sean goes deep and he looks into it. And he wants to know who is every player. Yeah, Ash. Yeah, there's a lot. Have you noticed? There's a lot of categories where I'm like, hang on, sorry, do I not do these things? Considering how much I go live. Yeah, Ash and Marlon have got a lot to answer from me. It is what it is. You can see who Ash and you can see they've stuck their favourites in every category. But Sean, great content creator. Gets into the nitty gritty. Me and him have had many a row down the year, but really gets into the nitty gritty. Sonny talks Spurs. I like it. Sonny goes deep into his analysis of the transfers. So does Ben Bowman. Henry comes in it from probably a bit more of a more dramatized way rather than an analytical way. Barnaby, I need to watch more of. And Ali Gold, we all know what Ali Gold does. So let's see who wins that one. Good luck to all of you for that. Best newcomer. Good luck to all. Hang on 1 second. Let's just check a few more categories. The best newcomer. There's a few options here, aren't there? The two Marks, the elder statesman, Mark the sheriff, and Mark the cookmeister. Great guys. Please get over and subscribe to their show if you haven't. Please help out all the creators, I think. The two Mark show, get over there. Big up to the Dan List, my boy as well. Get over and subscribe to him. All of those guys are really nice guys as well. Luke, Spotlight on Spurs, doing his thing. Just appeared, doing some work for the Sun, for the watch along, for doing the watch along for the Sun. And I know the feedback I've got from the producer at the Sun is that they really like Luke, and he did really, really well. And I've seen it, and I thought he was excellent on it. So big up to Luke. Nige at Pure Coys, lovely guy, down to earth, the ladies' man of the West Country. That's what I've heard. Yeah. I do think, Darren, I do. Listen, I'm going to have a word with my boys, Ash and Marlon. A lot of categories where I think, hang on, isn't that where I excel? And they've not even thought about me. But hey, it is what it is. There's some very good creators in the Spurs space. Durag Diaries, my boy, he was just on. Hopefully he does really well. Too much of Elijah as well. I love Elijah. He is very funny. And Jay, a Hotspur Cave. I love it. He's infectious with his personality. I love Jay. When he's on stream, he's intense. He's on his microphone like this. I like him. Good content creator. Another one that I think is going to go places. The Daring and Doing podcast and the FC Bottle Job podcast. Spurs Diehards. And no, I don't really know those three. I need to go and have a look. Hang on. Isn't Spurs Diehards? Yeah, that's Spurs Diehards. Yeah, that's... Isn't that these boys? Isn't that Dermot and all those boys? Might be making that up. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, I see. Zhang, yeah, okay. All of them. Okay, good luck to those boys as well. Big up to No Filter FC, which is Charlie, right? Big up to Charlie, who's a really good young content creator as well. Just forging his path as well. Big up to you. Good luck to everyone. Not Dermot. Sorry, I didn't mean Dermot. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, big up to all of those. The upcoming star, Harry Scarf, George, Luke, Dan, Jay, Seb Martin. I don't know Seb. I'll have to go and have a look at that one. Danny, my man Dan E. Such an underrated YouTuber. Danny is such an underrated YouTuber. You know what? Needs to be, again, I'll tell him, he knows. Less, be more selfish. Do less on other people's channels. Do more on your own. Build, grow. Great content creator. Comes at football from a very different perception to other people. And I love that. Always brings me back to a middle ground, or tries to. Sometimes I don't make it easy for him. Big up to you, Danny. And then Charlie at No Filter FC. I've met Charlie. Really nice guy. Good luck to you, Charlie, as well. Oh, my God, I'm there again. Oh, my God. How many are these, like, Oscars? Best daytime channel. Well, we're on it right now. Makes it sound like a talk show, doesn't it? Like what's that talk show? What's the lunchtime? What's the talk show in the day? Loose Women. This is like, yeah, for all of us people who go in the morning, like Loose Women. Big up to me. What a guy. What an underrated content creator. Someone said Trisha. Trisha. Big up to everyone on this list. Kate and Jim, we talked about them. Good luck to them. They always go live during the day, don't they? They give their viewers a good show as well. Tottenham on tour. The boys at Tottenham on tour, the Bryans. Yeah, they did have the Danny Kiriakou. Big up to those boys. Love them lot. So good luck to them as well. The Calfree Company. My man, Ben Kaufman, a lovely guy. More than anything, a lovely guy. You know, again, gives everybody something different to what everyone else is doing. Gives them a nice, chilled, relaxed chat during the day over a nice cup of coffee from a good setting, right? From a good setting as well, from his own place of business, the Coffee Company. Even though I don't like coffee, I love Ben, and he is the mod father. So good luck to you, Ben. I hope you get it. I hope you win that instead of me, mate. I hope you do. Go on. Spurs Talk Show. Yeah. Listen, we talked about Sean. I'm not going to blow any more smoke up his arse. Good morning, Tottenham away. Iggy giving you a video every single day. Go on, Iggy. I love it. He does it from like outside the Spurs stadium, outside the training ground. And he's just standing there going, come on, Levy, where are you? Let's buy some players. Love it. Big up to him. And then THFC Till I Die. Good luck to them as well. I don't know too much about that show, but big up to them. Really appreciate that. How many more categories? 2 left. Underrated channel. I think when people call channels underrated, yeah, I don't know really where to go with that. But the boy Hotspur, again, me and him don't really see eye to eye, but he does talk very well about Tottenham Hotspur. He does. I do agree with a lot of his views, by the way. He does talk very well about Tottenham Hotspur. So good luck to him. Jose El Tel Cockerell, cool, calm, collected. Gives it another insight. I don't agree with Jose on everything, but I do love Jose as a person. He's always been very good to me. Barnaby, again, good content creator. Go and watch him. Spurs Kings TV. I would say vote for them, but they've put me in so few categories. Big up to Spurs Kings TV. Good luck with that. And thank you for putting this together. This is very interesting reading. Harry Scarf, Holly, THFC Till I Die. All of these people. Lee Dorset Spurs as well. I don't know Lee. Comes across really well. Comes across like a really good content creator. New Spurs, as I said, New Spurs Order I've just subscribed to because I don't really know them. PRTV Spurs. I'll be honest, I don't know them. I need to go and let's have a look. Who are PRTV Spurs? Apologies if I know you under something else or maybe I don't. Let's have a look. PRTV Spurs. Okay, so they're fairly new. Let's have a look on one of their videos. Do I know any of them? I don't know any of them, I don't think. Maybe I do. I don't really know any of them. Hey, but good luck to them. Good luck to them. They've just got a new subscriber. I've just subscribed. They've got a new subscriber in me, so let's see how they get on. Golden Guest Talk Tottenham. Underrated. Hang on. I'll tell you what, guys, underrated. I think it's pretty big out there, isn't it? Spurs diehards, again, I don't know too much about them, but big up. And then definitely the Hotspur Hood. The Hotspur Hood, absolutely. Definitely underrated. Again, Dan, do more on your own channel, and I think you're flying. Again, a very good content creator. Yes, they've left me out of all these categories, and then I'm not in the underrated one. Unbelievable. The last time I send anybody over to Ash and Marlon, I jest, of course. I love Ash and Marlon. And then the last category is the non-Spurs Creator Awards. Henry Wright. That's dark. He's a Tottenham creator. Alice. Alice interests me. I disagree with most things she says. I think she says a lot of things to just get people on side rather than believing them, but she's a bloody good content creator. She's got the art down. She's got the art down, got it down to a T. I do think she goes way overboard about Spurs. Any Spurs player we sign, oh my God, he's generational. But she's a bloody good content creator. Fair play to her. She's built a very, very good platform for herself. Fair play to her. And The Athletic, it's The Athletic. James Alcott, very good content creator, speaks really well, very analytical. Sky Sports, putting Sky Sports in there. Talk Sport again, Tom Barkley, I'm going to skip that. Never a Foul. The guys over at Never a Foul cover everything, don't they? They're funny, they've got banter, they don't care. My boys Daps and Kaz, got a lot of time for them. I work with them every Thursday morning. Big up to those boys as well. Football Terrace. Well, look, Terry has created a beast, hasn't he? Terry Flewers has created an absolute juggernaut of a channel. And again, I've got maximum respect to all of these creators who have plugged away and built these channels. So big up to each of the creators we've talked about here. And hopefully I haven't said anything bad about any of them. I don't wish anything bad on any of them. I understand the game. I understand how tough it is to grow in this world. So I've got maximum respect. I'm telling you what, this is going to be the only one. This is going to be the only one where I give you my winner. My winner in this would be football's 12th man. I think Dan Potts is a fantastic content creator. He's got that right. I think he's got that right blend of, yeah, he's an Arsenal fan, but he's not biased. But he's got that right blend of getting the panel shows with all guests. I think everybody, I'll be honest, everyone you speak to about Dan Potts likes him, loves him. The non-Spurs creator, or the only one I'm shocked isn't there, if I'm honest, is Lee Gunner. But on that list, I would give it to football's 12th man. I can't believe that Lee Gunner is not in this list, if I'm brutally honest. Lee Gunner, I have the utmost respect for Lee Gunner. He, as a content creator, breaks all the rules of what you're meant to do as a YouTuber and is a bloody good content creator. Let me tell you what I like about Lee Gunner. And Spurs Kings TV, you guys need to explain, why is Lee Gunner not in this list, right? Lee Gunner, his knowledge of football around the world is second to none. Watch that man talk. He knows every league, every player, his knowledge of his own club, everything's up there, the dates, the times. He will give you women's football, international football, club football. He's live. I reckon he must be live about 15, 16 hours a day. For me, how he's not made that, robbed. But it's only a laugh. It's all a laugh. So big up and Bant Sports. If that's Rants and Bants, love Rants and Bants. Great content creator, Rants and Bants. Got his own style, unique. And do you know what? I'm going to say a massive public thank you to Rants and Bants. If that is that Bant Sports, let me just check. I've got the right channel before I say what I was going to say. Bant Sports, yes. So Rants and Bants helped me massively. Do you know what? Let me close that down. Rants and Bants helped me massively. I messaged him when I had about 1,500 subscribers, and I said, mate, would you listen? I know you're a big channel, but would you be so kind to come on my channel? I know I'm small, but blah, blah, blah. And Rants was one of the only people who messaged me back. Loads of these creators, by the way, don't ever message you back when you're trying to get help, which is why I'll always help people. And Rants came back and said, I can do you one better. How about we do a weekly show together? And I'll never forget that. He helped me grow massively. I learned a lot from him. So big up to Rants. Really big fan of his. Always will. It's a shame our show stopped. That was my fault, not his, by the way, because I dropped out of content creating for a little bit. But what a very good content creator Rants and Bants is. Has great shows, great guests, big fan. By the way, all I'm going to say is maximum respect to anyone who's on that list or not that does this for a job or as a pastime. This is tough. This is a tough gig. People will abuse. People will rant. People will mock, right? But this is tough to do, to put your face to a camera. Everybody in those lists puts their face to a camera. Everybody puts their opinion to a camera. They don't hide. It's easy for people in a chat room to just call, you're a mug, you're a prick, you're this, hate that person, this person. But everybody does well. So for me, I'm going to draw a line under any of this. I'm going to say this right now. I don't care any rows I've had with people in the past, any divide between. I don't want any issues with anyone. I don't want any drama. My hat's off to everybody who's created. Something's happened in my life recently where I've gone, nah, life's too short. And for me, hats off to every one of those creators. Whether I agree with your opinions or not, I've got nothing against any of you. I wish nothing but the best for all of you. And absolutely big up to each and every one of them. One second. Mike Mannion, apparently the deal is now off. Hang on, my wife has messaged me. Who's missing? Check out your analytics. I don't need to check out my analytics. Yes. So we were kind of hoping, weren't we, moving away from that. Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody. So big up to Ali Garcia, who's become a new member of Football Heritage TV. I thought you were already a member, Ali. So big up to you. I hope you're well. Thank you very, very much, Ali Garcia. Big up to Shem Tan, who's become a new member as well. As I said, either tomorrow or Thursday, we will. Could it be today? I think today might be a bit of a lost cause. Either tomorrow or Thursday, we'll have the first channel member only show. So watch out for that. And by the way, if anyone would like to vote on the Spurs Kings for any of those creators, there it is in the chat right now. There it is in the chat. Savva, Danny, is your wife the real Fabrizio Romano? I wish, because he must be minted from what he does. Yeah. Listen, big up. Thanks for putting that together. I think it's interesting. I think there's a lot of creators. There's creators there that I didn't know. So I think it's really good that everybody gets a chance. Maybe guys and girls, go through, subscribe to everyone on the list. I've done my voting. I'm guessing it's anonymous, Marlon, Ash. I've done my voting for who I think. You guys can go and do your thing. And we take it from there. But big up. Listen, I thought that was a bit of fun. Something slightly different there. Something slightly different. You guys, 435 likes. We're creeping up towards the 500. Bear with me. I've got a feeling a sneeze is coming. Oh, God, I hate hay fever. Got a feeling. Big up to Danny Kiriakou. Big up to you. Where are we? Let's get back to some football, shall we? Let's see what our man Romano has said in the last hour or so. So Fabrizio Romano has said that Mike Maignan, the deal is now off between Chelsea and AC Milan. Chelsea not willing to meet Milan price. Deal not proceeding in time for the Club World Cup, as Chelsea won't pay Club World Cup tax. Chelsea maintain full trust in Petrovic, Sanchez, Jorgensen, and talent Mike Pendes for goalkeeping role. Brighton have now scheduled the medical tests for Diego Coppola, the highly rated young Italian centre-half from Hellas Verona. 10 million euros plus add-ons. They just find them, don't they? They just find them. By the way, Kamoli, our ex-director of football, has confirmed that Kolo Muani will play in the Club World Cup with Juventus. They've not agreed a deal with PSG yet, but they would like to keep Muani for next season. Igor Tudor, we know, has been confirmed as the Juve manager. Other than that, let's have a look. Should we just see what if Ben Jacobs has said anything this morning? Maybe he said something about Spurs, Chelsea, Milan. Nope, but that one. 12 minutes ago, he said Al Hilal made a check on Benjamin Sesko on Monday, but we're told the Leipzig striker does not want to join ahead of the Club World Cup. Arsenal remain in contact with Leipzig. No bid placed yet. James Trafford to Newcastle is doing the rounds with Ben Jacobs as well. Let's check Alex Crook, see if he's saying anything. Let's have a look. June the 7th. No, that's it's now June the 10th, isn't it? June the 10th. No, nothing really. Hang on 1 second. I think I might have made that up 14 hours ago, 12 hours ago. Yes, Adrian Trafford to undergo a medical at Bournemouth. Looks like he's going to be the left-back replacement. Where are we? No, nothing from him. It seems like a slow news day today. David Ornstein. Anything from David Ornstein? No, the last thing he said was about Tottenham and Thomas Frank. Looks like that's going to be done soon. And Florian Plettenberg out there in Germany has said what? What should we see that he said 14 minutes ago? No. Granit Xhaka is not pushing for a move away from Bayer Leverkusen, apparently. Looks like he's going to stay there and play under Eric Ten Hag. He's Eric Ten Hag, isn't it? Yeah. Other than that, not a lot going on in the world of transfers today, people. It's still early. It's only 10 to 12. But Tottenham, we've got a new manager. Savva voted for himself. I'm not that shameless, Ghosted. I'm not that desperate to win it. Where are we? Danny has said it's box office. Box office ain't funniest, amusing. Then you need to get to know. I love Alex. He's such a good guy. Doesn't get the credit he deserves at all. By the way, please do keep subscribing if you haven't already. Let me go back to my channel so I can get my link. Football Heritage TV. There I am. Let's get my link. And there it is. Yeah, how quickly can we get to 18.5K? We've just gone past 18.4. How quickly can we get to the 18.5? I want to get to 20K by the end of the summer transfer window. No, ignore that. Sorry, ignore that. Copy. There we go. The link that I've just put in, which has got YouTube Football Heritage TV. Please smash that button and subscribe. And I'm going to pin it as well. There we go. I'm going to pin it. Replace the pin message. There we go. There we go. Let's get back to some football, shall we? Matty K. Hello, young Matty K. Is he confirmed yet? I think it's all but done. I think it's all but done, barring the screaming and barring the shouting. It is all but done. I think we're going to get an announcement today. Big up Haskinoff, my man. My man. It said Justin Cochran, former youth coach at Tottenham, currently head coach at Brentford and coach for England, will probably be our assistant under Frank. Well, the interesting thing about this is he's actually the bookie's favourite to take over from Frank. So let's see. But I know that they're trying to bring him over. They're trying to bring him over. Beyond 72 is showing some love for Kate and Jim, Tottenham away, Alex, Danny, and Savva. Absolutely. Listen, I'm showing the love for everyone this morning. Why not? I do get a bit, it's almost upsetting sometimes when you see a lot of people that their first thought is they want to go at other people. I think that, you know, there's enough hate out there. Let's try and somewhat get some love going, eh? It's too much hate, too much stuff that's silly. Just been on the link and Lee Gunner is now. Oh, they've added Lee Gunner, have they? You're welcome, Lee. If Lee wins it, Lee, you owe me. Big up to him. The Boomverse. So why is the MSM there absolutely pointless? Where's Saeed, Rants, Lee Gunner, Luke? Why is MSM? Who's that? MSM? I don't know what that is. Big up to Carl. Thank you very much. You enjoy the rest of your day as well. Alan Sibley. Hello. Alan, how you doing? I haven't seen you for ages. Said Levy's trying to pay less than Frank's stated release clause. No, he's, come on. Are we just trying to find a reason to have a go at Daniel Levy now? Everyone said Levy would take the cheap option. This is costing him £17 million to sack Ange and bring in Frank. I do feel, Alan, that we're just trying to find reasons to have a go at him now. There's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot. Oh, I see. Mainstream media. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, it makes sense. I was thinking, who is MSM? I've never heard of that channel. I do feel like we've got to give him credit, Daniel Levy, for this. Many said, oh, it's cheap. It's the easy option to keep Angepostecoglou, but he didn't. It was 7 million to get rid of him and 10 million to get Frank. Plus, when you look at everything else that goes into that, sacking Donna Cullen, it's got to bring new board members in there. Coaches are going to be coming in that might be on more than we have. So, yeah, Alan, but I think he's moved very quickly. Savva, can you discuss how Man United are able to sign Gokres and Bremer and Cunha? Reports saying new bid expected from Bremer and Gokres. Quite simply, they're Man United. They're one of the biggest clubs in world football, mate. I say this every year. I don't know why people are shocked. Man United are one of the biggest clubs in world football. Players want to join Man United. No matter what state they're in, they're always going to attract footballers. Now, they haven't got all three yet, but if they do get all three, what a bloody good front three pairing that's going to be. Hang on, sorry. Yeah, man, no, sorry, I'm live, but no worries. If you're not available at any time, no worries. No worries, man. No worries at all. Yeah, look, you know, I think it's Man United. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. They are a global powerhouse, marketing-wise. They're everywhere. There's Man U kits everywhere. These players grow up dreaming of playing for Man United. You think apparently Mbeumo has turned down Newcastle and Arsenal to go to Man United. Why? You've got to ask yourself the question. I know we just want to blame Daniel Levy for everything. I see where you're getting at, Danny. But I know where you're getting at. Look, see, yes, but it's not that. It is that. It is that. Danny, the problem is your whole life is hating Levy. Your whole life is hating Levy, so we don't look at anything else. But listen, if he's turning down Arsenal to go to Man United, if that is true, why? Why is he turning down? Why is he turning down Newcastle in the Champions League? These players grow up seeing Man United as one of the biggest in the world. Yeah, we'll go live. I'll go live later, George. No problem at all. We'll go live again later. Again, but Matty, see this, Matty. I'm not saying we'd pay the wages Man United would, right? But you've got to. Again, I keep trying to, Matty, we've had this chat for ages. There are some clubs that are massive. Man United have that global pull, and I don't think that Spurs fans seem to understand this. They have that global pull. Yeah. Kudos. Yes. Sometimes, yes. When you're saying they're a shit show, Man United already. Imagine Man United go and get Gyökeres, Cunha, and Mbeumo. They're not going to be a shit show anymore. Yeah, they're not going to be. Kudos. The difference between Spurs and Man United, right, is one goal from Brennan Johnson. That's the in reality, that's the difference between Tottenham Hotspur and Man United. So why are those people coming to Spurs over Man U? They're going to look and go, in the long run, who's going to be the bigger club, Spurs or Man U? It's going to be Spurs. Hang on, hang on. Let's get Danny on. So copy. Danny wants to come on. Here we go. I've said this for ages. Listen, I know people just want to sit there and we want to knock everything we do. But sometimes in the grand scheme of things, we've got to understand Man United are a powerhouse. If Man United have managed to attract Gyökeres and Mbeumo over some of the clubs that want him, you've got to ask yourself why. We can't just blame Daniel Levy for everything. There's a lot I blame him for. But the problem is we think in the short term. We think in the short term. But we're in the Champions League, man, you aren't. All right? Footballers won't just look in the short term all the time. It's not that simple. And again, as I said, guys, girls, please, we talk about football in absolutes. There is so much more to it, right? If Mbeumo is turning down big clubs for Man United, that's not on Daniel Levy, is it? Right? Man United are so much bigger than us. It's unreal. Whether you want to believe it or not, they are so much bigger than us. Yeah? Liverpool, so much bigger than us. Arsenal, so much bigger than us, more attractive than us. But again, people will go, but we just won a trophy. Arsenal didn't. But footballers will look at, where are Arsenal going? Where have they finished? Maybe it is this, Ash. Maybe he supports Man United. Right. Maybe. But this is what I mean. There's too many people that are speaking in absolutes that they know why the player wouldn't join another club. I've tried to explain this a million times to people, Ash. Right? There are so many variables in a transfer. But our fans literally just want to keep coming back to Levy and wages. It's not, please. There are so many videos on this on the internet. There are so many videos on this on the internet of how transfers work. And still people keep coming out with this, but it's the wages. Sure, but have you thought maybe Spurs approached Mbeumo and his agent said, no, he wants to join United. End of conversation. But our fans, nah, it's Levy. You don't know that. You just don't know that. Why did he turn down Arsenal if that's the case? Why did he turn down Newcastle? These clubs can afford the wages. It's mad. But Danny, they've got money. They've just bought Cunha. They're buying Mbuemo. They're trying to get Gyökeres. If anyone believed Man United had no money, if anyone believed that Man U had no money and weren't going to go big, come on, guys. Let's screw our heads on a little bit. Big up Danny inside the house. You said, how do they have money? Danny, their owners are stupidly rich. Like, I don't know. Dan, we talked about this a month or two back. Morning to you, by the way, mate.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. Danny, my underrated YouTuber. This guy, my underrated YouTuber. Do you know what your problem is? You're too selfless instead of selfish. That's your problem. By the way, but Danny, you could keep talking. They're buying people. They've got money. If they're buying people, they've got money. Again, do you know what? I love Danny, but all Danny's trying to do is discredit Levy at every opportunity. I've seen it from this fan base. Dan, we said this before, right? Man United, whether they won that Europa League or not, we said would go big, would buy players. Why are people shocked about it now? Why? Why are they shocked?
It was one of the first things I said. That Europa Cup game, it wasn't totally irrelevant to Man United, but in a sort of way it was. I mean, we needed that a million times more than they did all day long. If we wouldn't have got that, we needed that for the Cup. We needed that definitely for the after effects of the Cup. What did Man U care? Okay, they lost out a cup that goes in a cabinet of another 30 odd sort of thing. It was okay. We've got plenty. We needed that desperately in that aspect. Not saying they didn't want it, but they didn't exactly miss out on much. Yeah. But the thing I stated, you totally agreed with me in that as well, is it ain't going to hold Man U back. Man U will still go out and spend the money. They will still go out and attract the players. They will still go out and pay the wages. They will still go out and do everything. They will build themselves up significantly quicker than we could if we wouldn't have got that Europa Cup. We needed that Europa Cup more than them in every which way possible. What do Man U care? They just didn't get the Europa Cup. They're still going to go out and be able to attract, be able to spend and everything twice as much as we can.
Well, yeah, and look, Danny, I know where you're going with this, Danny. I know you. Danny, jump on. You won't last 4 minutes without talking about Daniel Levy. You won't last 4 minutes before you want to blame Levy. Mate, I don't need to look at Man U's financials. If, as I said to you, if any of you believed that Man United were not going to go big after finishing 15th in the Premier League table, if any of you didn't think Man U were going to go big, you've been living under a rock, right? Man United will sell Sancho, Rashford, maybe Højlund, Garnacho, right?
Yeah.
They will bring in Gyökeres, maybe.
Definitely that defender it is.
Kunda.
I can't remember it.
Yeah. They'll listen. I've got no doubt. And you know what? They're going to be good next year, Dan, because they're going to have one game a week.
I think Man U are going to be, at the moment, if you go by who's good at football, Man U ain't a big club at the moment. Yeah, they haven't been good for a little while now, even though they still got cups to show for it. But they're still Manchester United at the end of the day, the biggest club on the planet, either them or Real Madrid. It's either one of them two. And like you say, next season, they're going to have some significant players out. I think they're going to have some significant players in. I personally think they've got a very good manager. Okay, didn't go too well for him on this bit, but he's had, one player come in since he's been there? He hasn't even had a proper transfer window yet. So I don't think it's fair that you judge a manager who hasn't even had a bloody transfer window. You at least give them a bloody window or two. And like you said, where they've only got one game a week next season, I think Man U are going to be, they're going to be significantly better than they were this season.
Mate, already, I'm not saying they don't need to do more, mate, but already, imagine you just had last season's squad plus the front three of Gyökeres, Cunha and Mbuemo. For me, already that puts Man U 9-10 places up the league table with the goals those three had. And that's what having top forwards does for you, right? by the way, I'm not saying they don't need to do anything in midfield or defence. I'm just saying that just those three alone changes the complexion. Listen,
I agree.
by the way, Kip, Stelly's absolutely fine. Let's not do this. Stelly's absolutely fine, as far as I'm aware. He's got his strong views, and he's voicing them. He's absolutely fine. Let's not worry about people. That he's fine. He's fine.
Just a quick one with that, yeah. As all Stella's actually done is actually stick by his word. And I was on the show when he'd done it. Must have been about what we're talking about 6 months ago now, because it was round about Christmas time, give or take a month. He blatantly sat on the show and said, if Ange goes and wins that Europa Cup, which I'm sure he won't, but if he does, I will then back him up that he deserves at least a start of 10 games next season. And that's what he said, and that's what he's done. Do I agree with him? No, but he's actually stuck by his word. That's all he's done.
But also, Dan, I do think, like, listen, I've got so many people messaging me going, is Stell all right? Is Stell all right? Listen, I've spoken to Stell. He's all right.
Yes,
I think that, guys, if you see one of us flip out on YouTube or one of us have a passionate vent or a rant, it doesn't mean our whole life is crumbling apart. And like, if I come in here and go, I hate Spurs, Daniel, it doesn't mean my wife's left me. It doesn't mean that I'm losing my house or I'm having a mental breakdown. It means that I'm pissed off about something in football. So let's, I'm not saying you were saying it in any horrible way, Kip, but maybe as well, guys, maybe it doesn't help with the amount of abuse that people like Stell get. Maybe, right? I know about that firsthand, that people go, oh, is so-and-so all right? Well, hang on. People weren't caring when they were just saying whatever they wanted about them. I think you've got to remember that YouTubers are human beings. You can throw as much hate as you want at someone. Just because they're on screen doesn't mean that they want to hear it every single day, right? So Stell is fine until he tells me otherwise. He was live on his show last night. He's good.
I spoke to him. He's fine. He's just actually sticking by. He's actually sticking by his word. I know he slated Angel season that, but he clearly stated if he wins that Europa Cup, he deserves. I will stick by him for at least the first 10 games of the season, and he's gone and stuck to his word. Basically, that's all he's done.
Yeah.
Whether we agree with it or not isn't the point.
I don't think anyone's talked about Ange, have they? I don't think anyone's mentioned Ange for about an hour and a half. Not sure who is talking about Ange, but big up Sang-Min Lee. What I love about that, Dan, you get people like that that will go, they'll go back to other channels and go, oh my God, they're still talking about Ange. And I haven't mentioned him forever. Dan, it looks like it's going to be today, mate. Talking to managers, Frank, it looks like it's going to be today. The bookies have stopped taking money, which is normally a surefire sign that it's done. We're linked with every player under the sun again, which looks like that's why the manager's done. Give me your headline. Give me your headline on Frank joining Spurs.
Right. I've spoke to a couple of people about it. And I've spoke to a couple of mates as well who don't support Spurs and that. Now, Frank wasn't my first choice. He was my third choice, basically. My first choice would have been Glasner. I think pretty much everyone will agree with that. 9 out of 10 anyway. I know Brian wanted Frank a year and a half ago at least. But and then my second choice would have been Inzaghi, personally. But that's just a personal opinion. And then the next one for me would have been Thomas Frank over Riola, because I know more about Thomas Frank. He's also got 4 years experience in the Premiership. And I think managers like him don't get the credit they deserve for what they've actually done, because it's always the managers that are winning things that are getting more credit. The example I use is it's like a goalkeeper and a defender will never, ever get the respect they deserve compared to a midfielder or a striker. Mm-hmm. You know, I think there's many a time been a goalkeeper or a defender out there that should have got Ballon d'Or, basically. But again, that's personal opinion. But you'll only ever see a midfielder or a striker get it, bar a couple of times. I mean, yeah, that's another good point, Robson. Nagelsmann is another one I wouldn't have said no to. But I think we're going to have a problem with Frank. And it's not going to be him. It's going to be the fans. And this is through speaking to a couple of mates. And I think we've got a very good upcoming manager there. I like the fact that he's got an A, B, C, D plan. If you go and watch quite a few of his videos, I like his attitude. I like the way he is. I think he's also got a bit of a nasty side to him that you don't see behind the line sort of thing. I don't think he's just this nice fella that walks about with a smile all the time. I like his tactics. I like the way he plays. I think there's a lot of positive side to it. And I think also that I see very similarities in Frank to what I see with Poch at Southampton. Now, they play different football, but you get what I mean? Like, upcoming manager that I think is good enough to go up a level, basically.
Yeah.
And we're not going to know for a good year or so. But I think the big problem, and I think it's going to be a big problem that we're going to have with Thomas Frank, is going to be mainly down to the fans. Because you've already seen he's not even here, and there is a significant amount of the fan base that have already written him off. Whether it's for their love for Ange or whether it's they wanted a Conte to come in or a Mourinho style to come in. And what I mean by that is, I mean, like, size of the manager. We've just won the Europa Cup. We should be going up to, I don't know the right word, qualified. We should be going for a bigger manager as such, like Glasner. I mean, where Frank's got no European experience either, things like that, it's all going to get looked at. And I think he's going to get judged extremely hard compared to what a different manager would do as such. Because I still think there's going to be a lot of Ange lovers out there who are going to be picking apart every single thing that Frank gets wrong. Because he will get things wrong.
Of course.
And I think he's just going to have a lot of people on his case, and he's not going to get the support that a manager should get from when he starts. We all supported Ange. I called it out after 7 games that I don't think his style would work in the Premiership long run, but I said he's obviously got a plan B and he'll have his other side to it. He didn't. That's what let him down. I just think one of the biggest problems is actually going to be here, the fan base, where they want someone bigger as a manager as such, already known as bigger.
Dan, let me put this to you. And Perchie put this to me yesterday, which I thought was a really poignant, not an easy word to say, a poignant point. We keep talking about a bigger manager and, we think small. Let's have a look at some of the clubs that we're trying to get up there and compete with, shall we? Right? Let's have a look at the top 5. Let's start with Liverpool. Liverpool took Arne Slot. No Premier League experience. Right?
Yeah.
Managed in Holland. Again, I'm not knocking the league, but when we're going, we need somebody who's been there, seen it, done it in Holland. People would knock Holland. So Liverpool didn't go for an Ancelotti. Liverpool didn't go for a Pep. Liverpool didn't go for a Diego Simeone. Right?
I agree.
An Inzaghi. Right, let's have a look at second place Arsenal. They went for a manager that hasn't managed before. They went for somebody's assistant manager. Right? Let's now we won't look at Man City. They're the anomaly. Chelsea, who have just won a European trophy and finished 4th, they plucked a manager that just won the championship.
Yeah.
With Leicester. Right? They did win it, I think. So why didn't Chelsea go for Diego Simeone, Ancelotti, Klopp? Right? They didn't go for a big manager. Right? They went
blatantly had the money for it.
But they went for somebody with less experience than Frank. Right? So did Arsenal. Now you look at Newcastle, who complete the top 5. Newcastle went for Eddie Howe, who our fans would have ran out of, Eddie Howe? But he got Bournemouth relegated. But he didn't win anything. So when we're sitting here going, where's your ambition? Well, hang on. All these other clubs around us have done the same thing, if not worse, and are in the top 4 or 5. But yet we want to turn around and go, our ambition's so low. He's not a sexy name. It's underwhelming. I think I've got a bloody good point there, Dan. Sorry. I know that's really narcissistic, but I feel like...
No. If I thought you didn't, I'll tell you straight. No, I agree with everything you just said. I personally think...
made that point, by the way. I can't even own it. I've just elaborated.
It sounds like a Perchy point as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a solid point. If I thought otherwise, I'd blatantly say it. I agree. it's this fan base we have got is so far stuck up its own arse it can smell yesterday's dinner, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of it. With some of the players that we turned down, okay, I think we should be going for bigger players at times than we do. I'm one of the first ones to say it. But some of the players I've mentioned on here with you and other people, and the amount of the one I still can't get over is when me and you sat here and spoke about Locatelli, because it was quite clear that he was out there and that we could go for him. And literally so many people, Locatelli ain't good enough for the Premier League. He ain't good enough for Spurs. You just feel like, do you actually watch more than Premier League football? Do you actually watch other players play around the world? Some people don't. A lot of people just watch the Premier League. So, and I do think this fan base is so far stuck up itself. I mean, we just finished 17th, for God's sake, yeah? 17th, one place above relegation, yeah?
Yeah.
We just lost 22 games. We just went 2 years conceding over 120 goals, for God's sake, yeah? And I don't know what people were expecting. Now it's going to be the, if you come to Spurs, you should have won a cup or whatever, because Ange just won the Europa Cup. People know my opinion on that Europa Cup. He done brilliant to do it. Fair play, credit where it's due. But Newcastle had a harder run in the League Cup. There you go. And I just think a few people are too far stuck up themselves. And I think it's a good choice of manager. Other reason being is, I think from what I see of him and when I've seen him and the videos I've watched that a lot of people have sent to me as well, is he's very good at working with the cards he's got. And with him, you also see progress in players. You see improvement in players. Whether people like to admit it or not, with Ange, bar 2 players, every single player we had regressed. Every single one. You could say the ones that got better were Bergville over the season, and you could give Johnson credit for 18 goals. And you know, I don't rate him as a player, but 18 goals, fair play. If it wouldn't have been for those 18 goals, we'd have probably got relegated. So fair play to him. But apart from that, tell me another player who's actually progressed under Ange. Now, don't want to go into the Ange thing because he's done and dusted. It's over. But if last season's done and dusted and over, and the manager's done and dusted and over, then as far as I'm concerned, that cup is done and dusted and over. We've won it. It's on the list. It's done. Now, I want to look ahead to the future. I don't want to live on that cup for the next 5-6 years, 5-6 months or whatever.
And you know we're going to. You know we're going to.
Exactly. This is what is going to be a big problem for Thomas Frank on the fan side of it. Now, I got pissed up that night, bottle of Southern Comfort on here, along with everyone else doing it and that. And we was all happy. And then after 5 days, I was like, right, where are we going now? I find too many people are still living on that cup as well now. And they're going to be doing that with Thomas Frank. There is a lot about this manager that I think he can cope with what Daniel Levy gives him, basically. Now, again, we can all sit here and say Daniel Levy is the problem, this and that. We know that. We all know what Levy's like, and he ain't going to change. So what we have to do then is work around him, as the way I see it, and get a manager that can do the best with what he is given from Daniel Levy. Conte wasn't that man. I mean, well, what Conte did was nearly a miracle with the players he's had, as far as I'm concerned. But we need a manager that can basically accept what he's given or picked whatever and get the very best out of it. Whether it should be the way or shouldn't be the way isn't the point I'm making. No, we should be going for bigger players, bigger this, bigger that, whatever, because of the size of the club.
It is how it is, and he will deal with that scenario.
Yeah, it is what it is. Deal with it. There's nothing we can do about that bit. We should be this. We should be that. We ain't, and it ain't going to happen. And I think Thomas Frank is the ideal manager to come in and be able to deal with what he's given by Levy, basically. I think he's a lot of potential. I think the first season's going to be a bit up and down here and there, but I think you're going to see a lot more consistency out of him. I think you're going to see a lot more stability out of him. Another problem we're going to have off of supporters with him. I think there's going to be a lot of supporters that don't like his style of football after a couple of games because he's not gung-ho out and out attack. But then that's what a lot of people have been complaining about as well. Or they don't want pragmatic football. There's a Spurs philosophy in that. I don't care about the philosophy. Just win the bloody games. And that's where I feel that he's going to have a lot of fans on his case very quickly for things that he shouldn't do. But I think he's a good manager personally, and I think he's got the quality to come up to the next level. How far he can take us, time will tell. But I'm quite happy with Thomas Frank.
Jerome, I don't think you've listened to what Dan said here. I'm sorry, mate. I think what Dan will tell me if I'm wrong. I think what Dan was saying was that the run to win the League Cup was more difficult than the run to win the Europa League. Dan, is that what you were saying? Yeah. That's what I thought.
Look
so
who they had to beat, for God's sake. Chelsea. They had to do a double over Arsenal. What was
Liverpool, Everton, weren't it? Someone else.
You know what I mean? Doing a double over Arsenal as well, and they didn't even concede a goal, if I remember right.
Yeah,
they've done Liverpool. They've done City. You know, come on.
Yeah,
that was a harder run than what we had.
I do think that people, again, I'm going to spin people's arguments on them. You've got people saying, and again, Jerome, I think you said higher up. Big up to you, Jerome. Always very generous to me. You said higher up. Oh, but all those managers you named, Savva, were backed. Okay, but isn't that even more reason then why a Simeone, you know, all the top managers won't come to Spurs then? You're kind of arguing your own point. If you're saying those managers are backed and Tottenham managers won't be, then why are we surprised that it's somebody that's not a big name? But when are we going to learn? The best managers I've seen at Spurs in the last 25, 30 years have been managers that came from lower clubs, right? Was Pochettino, who came from Southampton? Was Harry Redknapp, who came from, what did Harry come from? Pompey at the time? Was it Pompey? Can't even remember.
I think it actually was. Yeah, I think it was.
So are we just gonna forget this? I feel like I feel like that we've got to do a bit more homework than this on managers. I feel like we can't just turn around and go, oh, he's from Brentford, he's crap. It's like, whoa, hang on. If that's the case, why have top clubs tried to get this man for years and he said no? If he's that bad, why are clubs wanting him if he's that bad?
Man U was meant to be having a good look at him before they got the manager they got now. They was meant to be pretty solid having a look at him.
Absolutely. All the top managers have to be given an opportunity somewhere. My worry is that next year our fans will just go, he's not won anything. And you look at it, we're not winning the league or the Champions League. To win the League Cup or FA Cup, you're probably going to have to play some very good teams. We're not going to be favourites. If he can win one of those cups, great. I'm not going to hold that against him in year one, Dan. I'm not going to hold against this guy year one. I want to see what he does, the bigger picture, the tactics, the coaching, taking the club forward. And this is the difference between the right now fans and the fans that are looking to the future. That's the difference to me between last year and where we need to go. We've got the cup off our back now. We've got the monkey off our back.
Again, I have to use Ange as the example here because he was the last manager. I didn't like him by the end of the first season, but I thought, right, we're giving the second season. After about 5-6 games into the second season, call it 10 games, I was saying that I could pretty much go for Ange out because he ain't going to adapt and he ain't going to change. But the first season, he got us 5th. Well done. The thing I had the ump with, I think he could have quite easily got us 4th if he would have just adapted some of the things that even the press told him to do, for God's sake. And you got to give at least the first season. And I think he's got enough quality on there. And I think people might start noticing things when in the middle of a game, we're playing one way and then it changes to another. And you can totally see that it's not just one or two players he switched around, but he's literally changed the whole system to make sure we get that point or those 3 points or whatever, because the pressure's on us or whatever. What formation is he going to use? I've seen him play with 4 different formations: 4-3-3, 4-3-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2. Seeing him play with, I've seen him play with several formations, and this is why I like him. I think he's going to be a very good manager for the players we got. Every time I've seen him have a team at Brentford, he always wants someone that can do a good cross into the box, not just drill it across the floor like you're playing FIFA. I think he'll be one who'll do very good to get the best out of Porro going up the side, crossing the ball in, for someone like Solanke in the middle, who is stronger as a target man, I think. And it wouldn't even surprise me if he played with a 3-5-2 and played 2 up front with Johnson and Solanke, because he's played 2 up front with Brentford a fair few times. I think there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing you're going to have to see with him to work the team out. But I think people are actually going to like the fact, in the long run, a few people anyway, that you will literally see him change his formation for a game or in the middle of a game. Because that is one main thing that I complained about with Ange all the time, that it was just the same crap over and over again. Even the players sat there and said it themselves. You could lip read what Maddison said. It was clear as day, for God's sake.
I mean, I think when you've got a manager whose answer is, how can you change things? We need to do plan A better. That should worry everyone. When you've got a manager that has 9 men on the pitch and puts them all on the halfway line, I think you've got to say it's worrying. Listen, I can't sit here, Dan, and say that Thomas Frank's going to be the greatest manager that Tottenham Hotspur have ever appointed.
No,
there are limits to what we can achieve right now as a club. But what I do think is people have got to understand he's going to need that. We've got a lot of players here that haven't been coached for a few years. They haven't been coached apart from being gung ho and everyone go and enjoy yourself. They haven't been coached. He's going to have to come in. And I think there's a lot of the players that are going to have a bit of a shock down in training. There's a lot of players that are going to be like, oh, hang on, we're going to do some defensive drills, are we? Okay. Okay. Right. This man needs time. And the unfair, so the comment I saw was absolutely brilliant. This one, not this one. Sorry. Where was it? Was it Mark? This for me sums up the Spurs fan base in a nutshell. Some people are so Levy out or Ange in, they don't see anything else. And it's almost as if the Levy in or Ange out narrative has actually stopped them looking at Frank and gone, this is what he does. This is the work that needs to be done at Tottenham, because the only answer is, and I think it's quite a childish answer, we won a trophy. Cool. What about the coaching? What about the stability? What about moving forward? He's got all that to sort out, Dan.
There's a lot to do. Again, we just finished 17th, for God's sake. Yes, we won that Europa Cup, but I'm sorry, that hasn't put us that much higher up the picking list, basically. We got in there through the skin of our teeth, basically, in that Champions League. We did not get in there we earned our way in there because we won that cup. But, there's a lot of people that will be looking down at Spurs in that aspect, saying you should not be in that Champions League. Do I think we're even good enough for the Champions League? No, I don't. Not a chance in hell. But it's like the debate I have with the Levy out lot, who are very hardcore on Levy out. Now, I'm Levy out as well. But I'll sit there and I give Levy credit for what he's done as well, because he has also done good things at Spurs. As a businessman, I'm sorry, you're not getting a better one out there. And I'd like to see a businessman out there who goes and makes a mid-table, falling to pieces club like Spurs were into the 8th richest club in the world without winning anything in the process. I also have the attitude of, we've had a significant amount of semi-finals under him. We've had a significant amount of finals under him as well. And in a fair few of them, you've seen that in the final, it came down to the manager making the wrong decision or players just not turning up on the day. Levy does not sit there and say, right, you're playing with 4 at the back, but you're going to basically play 2 at the back with 2 inverted wing backs and everyone sit on the halfway line. Levy does not tell them what to do while the game is going on and that. And I think there's too many people out there that where they despise Levy that much, that they're just so narrow, they're just so one-sided on it that they blame everything on him. He gets no credit for anything that he has done, which on the football side, I want him out, But if you're going to grill someone that hard, and everyone was grilling him last season for the sheer fact that we had Ange and Ange should have been sacked and this and that and everything else, then in a matter of 90 minutes, you see about 80% of the fan base turn around that Ange is the best thing we've had since sliced bread all of a sudden because he got us a cup. And Levy's still, I'll give you a phone call and I'll see you next Tuesday.
He's brilliant, but he's shit. It's like,
hang on a minute. You were just blaming Levy because Ange was that crap. But now Ange has gone and done something and he's getting the credit and deserves credit. But Levy's still, you've got to look on two sides on this, because if you just look at something one way, and you're trying to get people onto your side, but then people start looking at it and just see that no matter what happens, you just blame that person, and if he does anything good, you don't even acknowledge it or look at it. That's what I think makes a lot of people just sort of think, do you know what? That's just quite a narrow-minded attitude. I'm going to stay out of that. And I don't even think that a lot of them are that narrow-minded. I just think a lot of people are that hardcore Levy out that you just, where you only see that one side of it, it does the Levy out no favour, if you understand where I'm coming from.
No, look, I agree. And I understand that, you know, a lot of the decisions Levy makes anger a lot of people, and a lot of the decisions he makes anger me, Dan. You know, it's not like I look at every decision and go, oh, he's brilliant, he's a genius. Yeah, like, for example, if we sign Matisse Tell, I will be frustrated. But maybe the manager said, yeah, I'll take him. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Maybe the manager said, actually, I do want him. But what I think is important is I think we have to understand where we are as a club. And I said this yesterday on my video, Dan. Winning the Europa League, yeah, doesn't suddenly mean that all the things that we've been going backwards in, all of the aspects we've been going backwards, go away. They don't. There's a lot of work to do at Tottenham. Young players need developing. Current players need developing. We need to develop a defensive solidity to the way we play. We need some midfield still. You know, we're wide open in every game we play. But fans still wanted that for next season, which is what I don't. That's what I could never understand about those that change. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Sorry, no, someone was at my door. Sorry. That's why I could never understand that those that all of a sudden went, oh, I like Ange after winning the cup. I couldn't understand it because we've been complaining all year that we're wide open and there's no tactics. But they go, oh, I want to see more of that next year. Well, you've seen it for 2 years. Why do you need to see it for a third year? So, listen, the cup win for me is the best and worst thing that ever happened for our fan base. It's the best thing because I think everyone deserved it. But it's the worst thing because I think it made people forget about all the work that actually needs to be done as a club.
Yeah. I did a show about it, didn't I? Like, I did a show on it. Spurs need this UEFA Cup, or do they? Yeah. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing that we won that Europa Cup? Is that Europa Cup, now the fact we won it, going to put a lot more pressure and problems in the club as such? We needed that cup. We deserved that cup in every which way. But I think a few people need to step down off their high horse and realise at this moment in time, we are still only Tottenham Hotspur who finished 17th in the bloody league, with basically a whole team that underachieved in every which way possible. We need a coach there who can get these players back to their standards, let alone make them better. Because that's just getting them back to the standards they should be at, let alone making them a better player. Because, like I said, we've had two players that have not regressed, basically. He's got to get all these players playing to their level and then start trying to build them up from there. I just think Thomas Frank is very good for what we are at Spurs at the end of the day. No, it's not the way it should be. It's not the way I want it to be. But the way Levy is, the way it works, the way Spurs work, I think Thomas Frank can get the best out of what he's got, and he's good at it. Significantly better than Ange. I mean, Ange, everyone was complaining all season, or a lot of people, with the double inverted wing backs. I've been complaining about it for 2 years, for God's sake, and that we're all so high on the line. Same goals going in all the time, same players misperforming all the time, and that. I just think Thomas Frank is a good coach, and I think he's got the potential to go up to the next level.
I think as well, sometimes people have got to realise what's needed in any given situation. Sometimes what's needed in the short term might not be what's needed in the long term. Sometimes you need someone that comes in, does a good job, buggers off, and someone else comes in. Sometimes you've got a guy where you think, okay, this guy could be the guy for the next 6-7 years. But what we've all got to remember is people are like, the thing that's being thrown a lot is, oh, in 2 years we'll be looking for a new manager. Well, don't most clubs look for a new manager every 2 years? Like, you know, let's not make out that this is only Spurs. Most clubs, I've seen it, the average tenure of a manager is 18 months at football clubs. And then when you think that people like Pep, Klopp, those people make that stat even worse because they've been there so long. So they take the average the other way, right? Most managers don't last 2, 3, 4 years. Most managers don't. So I'm not too worried about what if we need a new manager in 2 years? All right, we might need a new manager in 2 years, but can we worry about the now? Can we worry about this next year or two? Can this man make us a competent football team again? That's the first job for me.
Look at it this way, yeah. I'll use Arsenal as the example here. What Arsenal now need is a Conte, a Mourinho. They are now in that position where that is what they need, with that quality manager who can just take them that one step further that their manager hasn't got the capability of doing. I don't think he has. I think he's another. I mean, Arteta's worked his way up there. He's not a bad manager. I mean, and anyone who wants to say he is, well, look what he's done with them, yeah? Okay, he hasn't won nothing. That is where they need their Conte. That is where they need their Mourinho. That is where they need their Klopp, their Pep, their whatever, to go to that next level. We're nowhere near that. We already tried that with a Conte and Mourinho when we was nothing near that anyway. They're not builders as in build a club over 3 years. They're builders as in with the next season or season after, I will get you cups and win you that league when I get that player, and that player, because that's what I need. We need a builder basically to help us get better again, to get bigger again. We don't need a manager that you would usually employ to win you the league next season, because that just ain't going to happen. Mm. Like you say, we need a coach now, whereas Arsenal at this moment in time need a manager that can cross them that line. They need that Conte now.
Exactly. Do you know what? I've said this for ages and it gets me stick. When Spurs should have brought in Mourinho or Conte was when Poch failed to get over that line when we were finishing second and third.
Exactly right? Exactly that.
Now, if you had given that team to a Jose or a Conte, you're winning the league title, right? And that's the difference. Okay, what we did is we gave Jose and Conte teams that were going the other way, teams that were starting to fade, and then we went, oh, but they didn't do anything. Of course they didn't, right? You know, listen. I've got a lot of time for Frank, and I just saw a comment I really liked. By the way, just quickly, Matty, relax. This is a lot to do. You've got to realise that what Daniel Levy or Vinay, whoever's doing this, I'm guessing Levy, what they're trying to do, they're trying to take all of Brentford's team. You think how many contracts, right? That is, what's that? 3 or 4 coaches, the manager, the payout to Brentford, the dotted, all. Again, Matty, I've said this to you before. This isn't Football Manager, mate. This isn't Football Manager where you do it and the computer does it for you. This is a lot of lawyers being involved, right? For me, I think what the work that Daniel Levy and Vinay have done in the last week, they've done a lot. They've done a lot of work at this football club in a week. So can we not start blaming Daniel Levy for, oh my God, it's taking ages. The manager was sacked on Friday. It's Tuesday, right? We know it's happening. Let them get the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and we'll get it over the line. But already I'm seeing people have a go, Dan, not Matty. Already, Daniel Levy dragging his feet as always. This is business. This isn't me or you popping down to McDonald's and buying a meal. This is multi-million-pound business.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is where people will look at Levy, and I can understand every reason why, same as I do in that, because he is a slow worker when it comes to buying players. There's many a time we should not have took 2 months to sign a bloody player like Van der Ven, like Solanke and others and that, because he tries to save every penny. But the thing is, with this one, it's like you said. I said just after he didn't sack Ange, I think Levy's got a plan. He's got a plan for the end of the season, because he hasn't sacked Ange at Christmas. I personally think he made the decision of, right, I want that Europa Cup come love nor money. We're not going to get in the Champions League in the league. And the decision he had to make was, do I keep Ange to do that? Or do I get rid of Ange and try and get a manager in now to do it or whatever? He took the gamble and it's paid off. I think Levy had a plan for the end of the season to have to clear out. And I said that about 5 months, Christmas time. And he's pretty much in the process of the plan he's got. Is it going to work? Again, only time will tell. But getting the manager out, who just won the Europa Cup, for God's sake, Levy could have quite easily sat back here and said, do you know what? I'm going to give him enough rope to hang himself and step back a little bit. because a lot of people all of a sudden changed to Ange, give him 10 games, going through morals and what he deserves, instead of at the end of the day, it's a dog eat dog world and you got to do what's best. They've asked Levy for many years to do what is right for football, not what is right for business. I think Levy's going to make the right decision and done what is right for the football club by getting the manager out, even though he just won the Europa Cup. And that's what people have been asking for, isn't it? Do what's right for the football, not what's right for the business. And now he's going and doing it again. He's getting absolutely grilled for it. And
Dan,
this one ain't going to take 5
he's
minutes.
taking the cheap option. He's taking the cheap option, I've heard, right? He's taken a fucking expensive option, right? 7 million to get rid of Ange, 10 million to bring in Frank, 17 million pounds we've done this week on out and in for without even footballers. But again,
and the
he
coaches.
won't get, yeah, exactly. Now, by the way, Emma, I'm sorry, Emma. The teams Conte and Jose had at Spurs were better than what Ange had. Have a day off. What you mean is Conte and Jose had prime Kane and Son. That's it, right? Look at the rest of the team that these boys had. Jose and Conte, right, had people like Winks, Skip, Sissoko, Ndombele, Aurier, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, right? Royale. Sorry, this is mad. And again, this is somebody
done and dusted Hugo Lloris.
Again, this is listen, I will call out when I see something that is categorically wrong, I will call it out. And totally overall had a much better squad than these clubs. Yes. Much better squad. Look at the defense we've got now compared to what Jose and Conte would kill for the defensive options we've got now. They would kill. Jose and Conte playing a back three with Van der Ven, Romero and Danso, with Porro and Udogie at fullbacks. They would bite your hand off for that. Bite your hand off. Come on.
I think the perfect way to put this one, someone just put a message on yours. I'm just trying to find it now. Nick Davis on 1242. Conte, too pragmatic. Mourinho, too pragmatic. Ange, too gung-ho. Frank, balanced approach. I think that one hits the nail on the head, personally. And we've gone from so far that way to so far that way. I think what a lot of us wanted now was stability.
Yeah. Dan, my door's going to go. Can you hold this?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I think a lot of people, after the Conte and Mourinho, a lot of people don't like pragmatic counter-attacking football. I do, personally. When you get that right, it's very fast. It's very good. Sit back, take what you got, and then 3 or 4 direct balls forward, straight in the back of the net. That's why I love Italian football. But then other people don't like that. Other people say it's not the Spurs philosophy. They want to see attacking football. So when we went and got Ange, we went from one side to 100% the other side. And by the end of the season, people were already starting to question it. Where's our defence all of a sudden? But it was only the year before that everyone was complaining about defence, that we defend too much. We play too defensive. I just think we went from 10 men behind the ball to 10 men in front of the ball. And it's not going to work. You need stability there. And I think Frank is a much more balanced, stable sort of manager, if you want to put it like that, who's got 2 sides to him, than the other 3 you mentioned. Now, Conte and Mourinho, 2 of the greatest managers about, and their way has worked everywhere. But the Spurs supporters didn't like it. It was too counter-attacking. It was too pragmatic. It was too this. So you go to the other side, total gung-ho football and that. And then it also got to the point where the Spurs supporters didn't like that as well. I think we've gone for a stable manager who's got 2 sides to him now. And that's what I want at Spurs.
Yeah. Ghosted, when you're saying, and then Jose got Gareth back as well. I think Jose Mourinho got an injured Gareth Bale when he joined. That wasn't the Gareth Bale that we know. He scored some goals, but you're making out like it was the Gareth Bale that was ripping defenses apart when he left Spurs. Look, excuse me, guys. Let's be brutally honest here. If you're going to judge managers against each other, then you've got to judge their squads against each other. Jose Mourinho utilised brilliantly what he had by getting Kane to actually drop deep and feed Son. Yeah,
he made Kane and Son as far as I'm concerned. The way that
Yeah,
he got them playing, he made Son
agreed.
as the striker he can be, basically. He made that.
And doesn't get the credit for it, right? And if you actually look, Jose Mourinho, I've said this a lot. When Jose Mourinho was here for 18 months, in that 18 months, only 3 Premier League clubs got more points than Jose Mourinho did. But again, he worked with what he had. Conte, not my personal favourite. Hang on, Emma. See, again, sorry, I disagree. Jose took over Poch's team. We got to a Champions League final. Yeah, Emma, what? You mean you mean Vertonghen and Alderweireld, who were declining? You mean Sissoko and Winks in midfield? You mean when Kyle Walker had left? When Dembele had left? I'm sorry. When Christian Eriksen didn't want to be there and left. I'm sorry. I think, listen, you've got to remember that team that got to the Champions League final was doing that in the league for a reason. They were getting old. The legs were going. Again, facts don't care about feelings, Emma. This is the problem. If you think Jose Mourinho had a good team at Spurs, I think we've got to... All right, I'll tell you what we'll do, Emma. Tell you what we'll do, right? Would you be happy, Emma, if our back five right now was Aurier, Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, Sessegnon or Reggie, and our midfield was Winks and Sissoko? You wouldn't be. That's basically what Jose Mourinho had.
Conte had it worse.
He was bought Joe. No, Conte had it better. Conte had Romero. Conte had Bentancur. Conte had Kulusevski and Son and Kane. But this is the thing for me.
Terrible.
Completely. He had, other than Romero. Yeah, you're right. But this is where short memories, Emma, right? Once Vertonghen and Alderweireld went, Jose Mourinho had absolutely crap at the back to work with, but still only 3 managers got better points than him over 18 months. But people don't want to look at that body of work, Dan, because it goes against the narrative. Oh, Jose's crap. Jose can't manage. Well, actually, Jose, with what he had, actually gave a very solid performance. He was the 4th best manager in the country for 18 months. He gave a solid performance.
Even had Man U winning stuff when they were... he didn't have a great team either. I mean, for me, Jose Mourinho, I think he's the best manager there's ever been. But that's my opinion. I'm entitled to that. And sure. I could challenge anyone else who said there's been a better manager, because you can debate it with him, basically. If someone doesn't think he's the best manager ever, you can debate that he is. Okay, someone might pick one that's got slightly this or that. I get it. But for me, I don't think there has been a better manager with what I have seen Mourinho do in his career at places and with certain teams. And okay, they had a Kane, they had a Son. Fine. But then if you look at the rest of the team that Ange had, it was being played totally the wrong way. And he had some significantly better players in there. How many people was saying, like, Porro, Adogi, Van der Ven and Romero? Now go stick Royale, Davis, Longley or Sanchez there, and whoever we played on the left at the time. The main thing I think everyone thinks of, they just think, oh yeah, but those managers had Kane. That is the main thing they think of. But they had Kane. Okay, would we have done better if we had Kane? Possibly. We'd have got more goals in there, and I think we might have finished 14th if we had Kane, basically. I don't think it would have made that much of a difference, because the way we played, we would have just conceded too many goals. And that is why I said I don't think he would ever succeed in a big league. We were too open at the back. You cannot play we score 3, you score 3, we score 4 in the Premier League. You can't do it in Serie A. You can't do it in the Bundesliga. You can't do it in La Liga, whatever. You just can't play that way.
Can I, Dan? I completely agree with you. By the way, Matty, I'm again a bit of education here, Matty. If he was the best manager ever, how did he not manage to win a trophy or achieve better than a 4th place finish with us? Well, first and foremost, he was sacked 5 days before a cup final, so I'm not really sure how you expect him to win a final when he's sacked. Second of all, when you finish 4th, you do realise when Jose Mourinho picked Tottenham up, we were 14th in the Premier League, right? And in the second season when he left us, I think we were 4 points off top 4 and he was sacked. Matty, again, it's really important that you go and do your research with these things, right? Jose Mourinho never had a full season. He joined us in the October, I believe, October of the first year. And in the second year, he was sacked in the February, right? So I think you've got to do your homework, mate. And just having the best striker ever, right? He's not the best English striker ever, one of. Having the best striker ever and the best South Korean ever isn't a team. I don't want people to understand this. You can't. Spurs could have had Lionel Messi last year. It doesn't mean we're not crap at the back and stop conceding goals. Matty, you've got to work this out. In his time, right? As I said, Matty, only 3 managers gathered more points in 18 months than Jose Mourinho. Look at the squad he had. It was crap. Let's look at the squad he had. So again, I think we've got to use a little bit of common sense here. Emma's come back in and said, okay, let's compromise. Jose and Conte had the better players up front and had the better back line, even though Romero and VDV missed a lot of games. But Emma, Ange had the better defenders, the better midfielders, the better playmaker. Conte and Jose didn't have a bloody playmaker for Tottenham Hotspur. Jose had to turn Kane into our playmaker because we had no playmaker. No one gives him credit for that. Look, again, the problem is when you are looking at like for like, when they've got different squads and different eras, it's very difficult, right? It's very, very difficult. Let's have a look. We were playing better. Well, we got to the Champions League final without Harry Kane, didn't we? We got through all those rounds in the Champions League without Harry Kane. THFC 20 said Jose Mourinho was obsessed with Eric Dyer and played him regardless. Who did he have? Who did Jose Mourinho have to pick from at the back? Dyer, Rodon, Sanchez, and Davis. Isn't it a lesser of two evils, Dan? Dyer or people have got short memories, Dan. Very short memories. When it comes to Tottenham.
He's been a very good player at Bayern Munich.
He's done well at Bayern.
I've watched him play a few times when he's played for him, and that. I mean, that game he had Arsenal, he totally tore him up. And again, look what Conte managed to do with us. The state we was in, and in such a short amount of time, got us into 4th place.
Yeah,
even done Arsenal. And got us into that 4th place. What Conte managed to do with the team he had there and how low the team was going down at the time, the morale, everything else, was not far off a miracle.
Yeah.
Listen, I know he's not at Bayern anymore, but he has played at Bayern over the past bloody season or two, yeah? And when I see him play for him, he played well. I know he's not there anymore.
And mate, when you're saying we finished 5th last year, but we've just finished 17th this year, mate, as I said, you can put in Lionel Messi, right? You could have put Harry Kane in last year's team. That doesn't suddenly mean you can defend and you're not wide open. Matty, sorry, you jump on these. Listen, Matty, you know I love you to bits, dude. But what you do is you jump on these bandwagons in the chat and you get all a little bit excited. Look, Jose Mourinho has been one of the greatest managers the world has ever seen. He went to a crap Man United and won them 2 trophies, right? He went to Roma and won them their first ever European trophy and then got into another European final the following year in 2 different European trophies. Yet we're just going to belittle people like that. Honestly, I really wish that people would do their homework on some of these people. Look at what Jose Mourinho did at Porto. And again, for anybody, this information is out there. When Jose Mourinho took over at Porto, he ripped out half the senior players, went and bought loads of players from the lower leagues in Portugal and said, that's the guy that will run through a brick wall for me. I like that guy. Put them together, built a team, won the Europa League, then won the Champions League. Right?
And his league, if I remember right.
God, we've really got to... No, no,
Look what he did with Inter Milan. Look what Jose Mourinho did with Inter Milan that year when he got the treble with. How did he pull that off against Barcelona in that game? I don't think I've seen a team have that much pressure on them basically and been able to defend it that Barcelona put on Inter in that game. The way they managed to get up to the top with Roma on how good Roma were as well, with everything that was going on around him. The stuff he done at Chelsea and that, Mourinho for me is the best manager there's ever been, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. One thing we can give Ange is he has managed to go and win a cup with us, a significant cup with a team that was so underperforming it could have got itself relegated.
Agreed.
And one thing I do respect Ange for, and this is where I can show Ange this bit more respect on this one situation than I can Poch. Poch didn't have the bottle to leave Kane out of that team. Kane should never have started in that final, yeah?
Agreed.
Lucas Moura should have started. Now, he should have brought Kane on with 30 minutes to go, whatever. Whereas Ange actually had the bottle to leave Son out of that team, which I don't think anyone thought he would. And that I will show respect to the fella for. Fair play. That took a pair of balls to do that. Because how many people sat here and said he ain't playing Son? We couldn't believe it that he wasn't playing Son. Whether he wanted Son playing or not weren't the point. We didn't think he'd have the bottle to leave Son out. Like Poch didn't have the bottle to leave Kane out. And again, fair play. Ange got them ones right. He basically went from 10 men in front of the ball to 10 men behind the ball. It worked at the end of the day. But now I look at the future and I don't believe his standards would have been in the same problems next season that we had this season, basically. And then having Champions League and that.
I'll tell you what, let's have a look, by the way. I do want to have a look at this. I'm sorry. When I see Jose Mourinho disrespect, I do sit there and think, well, hang on. If we're going to belittle some of the greatest ever, then no one stands a chance. All right? Let's have a look at this. Here's an interesting question. I'm going to ask you this before I do this. Dan, this is just for you. Matty K. Okay. I've sent you the link. Matty, I've sent you the link, by the way.
I can answer this one easy.
What Jose, got that Pep or Ferguson hasn't?
Right. The one I'll first go to is Ferguson and why I rate Jose a better manager, a more successful manager than Ferguson. Again, it's purely opinion. What Ferguson done with Man U was unbelievable. You're never, ever going to touch what he did with Man U. That's just not possible in this day and age. But for me, once he had Man U at the top, and they were the richest club out there, they were the best. They could literally, how many times did they go to Tottenham and other teams and just go, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not quite as easy as that now because other clubs can dip in and do exactly the same and offer more money. But he stayed at Man United. And he stayed at Man United while they were the best. Yeah, he built them about 3 or 4 times while he had them, but he stayed at Man United. That's the thing what lets him down, from my personal opinion. Jose Mourinho, when he won the Europa Cup and the Champions League and the Portugal League, he done the Spanish.
Porto. Hang on, Dan. Can you labour that point a little bit? Winning the Europa League and the Champions League with Porto cannot just go, yes. That is huge. Like
with a team of players that no one had ever heard of. And yeah, okay, Fergie at Aberdeen. I missed that one out. Fair play on that aspect. Yeah, I missed that one out. But for me, Mourinho, he did it everywhere. He came over to England and he totally destroyed England with Chelsea twice, if I remember correctly. In Italy, Inter was not the best team out there. They was a very good team, but they was not the best ones out there. And he went and done the treble. You know, he everywhere in Spain. He went and done it in Spain. And that is where I can respect managers more when it's just my opinion. I can respect managers more when they've gone to 3 different leagues and won it every. Angelotti, he's another one who doesn't get spoken about enough. Every single league he went in, he done it. We can say Pep has as well. I totally agree with that. I just put Jose Mourinho is just my personal favourite manager, and there's solid reasons why. Pep, you can say he done it everywhere as well. But then the question I go and ask with that one, look at the clubs he's been at. Would Pep have the capability to do what Mourinho did at Porto? We're never going to know. We can say yes, we think he has this and
would
that.
anyone do that
never
again?
know.
Would anyone do that
point.
again with the amount of money that's in football? I'm not sure anyone. Listen, there will be anomalies. But look, listen again. Foxy, this man knows his football. Said, yeah, look, Jose went Porto and bought in Ferreira, Maniche, Durley, Conceição, Benny, Basingwa, Alberto, Pedro Mendes for 8 million. 8 million and dominated Europe. Big up to Lubo. Before I bring Lubo in, I just wanted to show this. And again, Matty, when we're getting all the Jose Mourinho slander, right? Let's have a look, right? First of all, look at the win rates. Look at the win rates for every club. 54, 52, 71, 67, 62, 71, 58, 58, 51, 49, 62. This man's got a win rate of 62% in his career. That is huge. Then when you look at manager, right? Assistant manager, I'm going to move past. Look at these. Look at this sheer volume of trophies for Porto. Champions League, Europa League, Chelsea, Premier League times 3, FA Cup, 3 League Cups, Inter, 2 Serie A's, a Coppa Italia, Super Coppa Italia, Champions League, 1 La Liga, 1 Copa del Rey, 1 Super Coppa de España, the League Cup, the Europa League, the Conference League, Coach of the Year, Manager of the Year, this person of the year, that of the year, Guinness World Records. Look at youngest manager to reach 100 Champions League games, former record holder for the most points achieved in a Premier League season, most unbeaten home games in the Premier League, 77, fewest goals conceded in a season, 15. So, Matty, just when you're saying about if he was so good, why didn't he do X, Y, and Z? Your CV does not look like that if you are not one of the best in the world. Lubo, how you doing?
Afternoon. Yeah, good. You?
You been to the dentist?
I've been to the dentist. Minus 1 tooth. All okay.
Oh no! Oh no! Has your wife got any cash out to leave under your pillow tonight?
No, I'm losing you. I'll come back in a couple of minutes. I'm just in a bad area.
All right. Oh,
that's better. That's better. I'm moving.
Go on.
That sounds better.
I mean, there's so many managers we can go through and that. And there have been so many great managers out there, and a lot of it's like players as well. A lot of it can come down. Football is very much personal opinion. Yes, there's a lot of facts in it as well, but there's certain players that I will say that I think are better players than you would say are better players as such. A lot of it does come down to opinion. Like when I said 2 years ago, I would quite happily take Milenkovic over Romero all day long. A lot of people still won't agree with that, but that is just my personal opinion, and I've got my reasons for it. But Mourinho, for me, is the best manager there's ever been, in my opinion. There is a solid argument for it. Yeah, you can bring up other arguments about Pep. Angelotti, I think, has been a very underrated manager over the years. I mean, you think he's the only one who's done it in 5 leagues, isn't he?
Yeah, Ancelotti's done it everywhere.
He's the only one who's done it in French, German, English, Italian, and Spanish. I think he's the only one who's won every league out of them 5.
What's Jose done? Jose's done England, Portugal, Italy, Spain,
Italy. I think they're the 4 he's done it.
He's done 4. Yeah.
Did he win it in Turkey?
Spain and Germany. Yeah, listen. These are. I mean, let's be fair. When we're talking about Ancelotti, Pep, Jose, we're talking about the greats. The Fergusons. We're talking about the greats of football here. Unfortunately, we're not a club that can give those greats what they need to make us great. But it is what it is. Lubo, you back?
I'm back.
How are you?
I'm back. Yeah, all good, thanks. All good today. All good now, anyway.
Matty, stop. What is Ange's win rate in his whole career? Stats don't mean anything, do they? Matty, the guys we just mentioned have performed at the highest level of football, Matty. Ange's stats in the Premier League are 41% win rate, mate. 41%. Look at what I just showed you with Jose. The man's performing at 62% across his career. Like, come on, Matty, stop now. Please.
Look at the age he was as well when he came into Chelsea as well. and look at what the way he just walked in there and just totally took control of the Premier League in his first season. Mourinho has done, again, this is where I think people don't follow other leagues that much. If you ever want to see something of a true great manager doing a great season, go and watch what Mourinho did with Inter Milan when he done the treble with him and what he had to go through and what he had to beat. It's a personal opinion at the end of the day. That's all it comes down to on that one.
Lubo. So we're just hearing that the reason that I'm just getting this through, that the reason it's not been announced yet is, listen to this. Frank is trying to bring with him Justin Cochran, Klaus Norgard, Keith Andrews, and Manu Sotelo, plus his fitness coach, Tom Perryman. So at the moment, we're negotiating for 6 staff members from Brentford to all come over to Spurs.
Basically clearing them out.
Yeah, that's a positive, right, Lubo?
Absolutely. I must say, the one thing I've always found really strange, the manager is the most important part of the whole group. And it's amazing that the fees that are paid to buy out managers' contracts are so much smaller than players.
Yeah.
And the manager is more important. So for me, if it's 17 million roughly that I heard you mention, 17 million, when you look at what we pay for a player, 17 million is peanuts. So, and from what I'm told, to not want to pay that sort of money for slots last year was ridiculous.
Big mistake.
Oh, massive, But there you go. I won't get started.
But it's good, by the way, Carl. I think he'll be adaptable, by the way, Carl. I think we're going to see games where we set up defensively but counter. I think we're going to see other games where we dominate. I think you've seen a number of different ways he plays. But Lubo, I think it's just really good in terms of, not only did I not rate Ange as a manager, but when we looked at the backroom staff and we were looking at Montgomery, Ryan Mason, it all looked a bit meh, didn't it? It all looked a little bit second rate. Now,
coaches from the Scottish League have got the sack from an extremely small club.
Frank will be coming in with his people. So there'll be no, we've got to get used to each other. It will be his people that from day one, fitness will be what Frank likes. Coaching will be what Frank likes, right?
Listen, we're going to be, hopefully we're going to be a proper football team now. A proper football club.
Agreed.
Because we haven't been for several years. It's funny, just listening to you talk about Jose there. Jose played a pragmatic way of style of football, because he had to play with the cards he had. If you haven't got quick players, you can't play a high line, you can't play a high block, you've got to play a low block, because you've got to have players in position and players that can move, players that can recover. And if they're not quick, apart from Sanchez, he was the quickest, the whole thing falls apart. And that's why Jose played a defensive style of football. I think also the West Ham game where we were 3 up on 86 minutes, I think that had a big influence on him as well, because he didn't feel at that stage that we could defend, if you can't defend a 3-goal lead. And if Bergwijn had scored those goals instead of hitting the post and missing a sitter at Anfield just before Christmas, we'd have been top at Christmas. So I think Jose did a great job with what he had. And he turned Kane into a 10 as well as a 9. So, full marks to him. But, you're right, these boys have got to be given the tools to do the job. And if they're not, then there's no point in them being there.
No.
With Frank, this is quite exciting, providing he's given the tools, providing if they want Champions League, he's given the Champions League budget, not a Europa League budget. And that's the key thing. Time will tell. Let's see what happens over the next couple of months.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. And I mean, Dan, I think this is the interesting thing. We've all said it for ages about coaches, right? We've said for ages, Daniel Levy doesn't let anybody bring their own coaching staff. lots of the reports are saying that was one of the caveats from Frank. Hey, I bring my team. I bring my coaches that know my style of play, that know my fitness, my dietary requirements, my medical team, my set piece coach. And the set piece coach is one that interests me, Dan, because Brentford last year conceded 2 set piece goals in the entire season.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Well, look what happened when we let our set piece coach go. I mean, Levy has made the mistakes in the past of not bringing in certain managers because he refused to bring in their coaching system with him. If he wants this manager, he's going to have to bring at least 4 out of 6 of those coaches with him.
Apparently, he said all 6. Apparently,
okay,
he
all
said
6.
All 6. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's going to have to at least bring 4, at least, for Frank to want to do this, basically, I think. And that was another thing with Ange, which I was very questionable about when I heard about it straight away, that he quite happily came over here and blatantly stood on TV and said, I don't bring coaches with me anywhere. It's another challenge that I like to have. I'm like, well, why do you need another challenge? You're already going to Spurs and the Premier League, for God's sake, yeah?
Make your life easier, right?
And every great manager that I've known has always had at least 3 or 4 coaches that literally go everywhere with them.
Yeah.
Mourinho always had Adam, Conte always had them, Pep's got them, Ferguson had these ones that he kept for how many years and everything. And when you're more of a manager than a coach yourself, you need coaches that are very good more than anything. Because Ange wasn't one, he was a manager, not a coach. He wasn't one to coach the team himself. He needed his coaches to teach the players his way. Whereas Thomas Frank is a manager, is a coach, Mourinho as well, who will come in and also be part of the coaching system. Whereas you go and look at other managers that have been out there, coaches, Ferguson wasn't a coach. He wasn't a good coach. He was a brilliant manager. Read his autobiographies. I've read both of them. He even blatantly says it himself that coaching weren't his thing. He was better at coaching as a player-to-player, personal link sort of thing, like their link up together. He was brilliant as a manager, but he had his coaching system to do the coaching job. He didn't do that. He was an out-and-out manager and one of the best at it. That's where you have a difference where I think some people don't understand the difference between a manager and a coach. If you're a great manager but not a good coach, then you've got to have a brilliant coaching system to do the coaching for you. Thomas Frank is a coach through and through.
Yeah, look, Lubo, I'm excited. I am excited. I know that you're going to bring me back down to earth with some form of Levy conversation, but
no,
it suddenly feels like we are linked with a lot of people. By the way, TalkSport have just said that Bournemouth have slapped a £70 million price tag on Semenyo. I think they're probably very bored of losing their players. Lots of reports today, though, Lubo, that Eze is one that Frank has said he wants, which would make sense because why wouldn't anyone want Eze? Do you believe that we could get an Eze now, Lubo, after last summer?
I do. I definitely do. You know, you've got Champions League football to offer Eze now.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I know he's got European football, we think, but
possibly.
I think it's excellent. And you know, it's funny. Just drift back very quickly. You talk about the coaching staff for Frank. Well, between Werner and Region, that's about £10 million worth of wages that's off the books that he's now got to play. He's now got to play with in terms of what he's going to give Frank and and his team. So for me, you know, listen, why he'll negotiate all 6. Why would he cheese off Frank? Why would he, you know, and say, I'm only going to give you 4 for what it's going to cost in the overall scheme of things. Yeah, I mean, looking at 17 million plus the money, plus the wages, you know, for an extra 2 people, it's a small percentage, isn't it? So for me, I can't see Levy pissing him off. I think he'll want Frank to come in, bring stability to the club, and I think Frank will bring his full team in, like Conte did, like Poch did. I can't remember about Jose, but the only one I think who wanted Nagelsmann. he said no to. Nuno wasn't allowed. So
Is
and
Levy
Ange,
learning? Lubo, is Levy learning?
Is
Or because what I'm seeing is a lot of
oh my
people,
God.
like a lot of people, suddenly now something good happens. It's not Levy in charge anymore, and you're like, hang on. Is he learning?
I hope so. I hope so. I also think that you've got Lewis's man in there, and Lewis must have been looking at his investment in Spurs, and as we were going down and down and down last season, and Europe through the league was not a possibility. We were losing 3 million every time we dropped down a place. I think Lewis was actually looking at that, thinking, Jesus, he's taken a massive risk here. So next thing you know, Charrington's on the board. So I actually think Lewis has brought his own man in to rein Levy in.
Haven't you wanted Levy though to take risks? Because one thing you complain about a lot, like a lot of others, is that Levy don't take risks usually. So what do you want?
I think well, Dan, I want him to take calculated risks, not reckless risks. And
I agree.
Yeah, to take a risk on Ange, the way he played and the amount of games we were losing, I thought was reckless. There was nothing calculated, or educated about that risk, was there? He
wanted that Europa Cup. That is all he wanted,
yes.
And he wanted to get in the Champions League, and they knew the only way they could do that was the Europa Cup. And the decision he had to make was: do I keep Ange to do it, or do I get rid of Ange now and get someone else in to do it? Either way, it was a gamble what he would have done. And
well, if he'd have brought a better manager in November, Dan, I don't think it would have been as big a gamble.
Because, we could have got better in the league. I agree with that, but we wouldn't have got Champions League for it. As all he cared about was Champions League, in my opinion.
But guys, bringing in the better. Again, this is what I'm going to give myself some praise, because God knows the internet doesn't. This is why I said for ages that I think that he wanted the clean sweep in the summer.
Yeah.
Because if he had tried to go and get a manager mid-season, imagine going to Brentford, right? Imagine going to Brentford in October or November and saying, we want your manager and 6 of your staff, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened. So I think we need to take that into account, right? And I don't blame Ange for getting to the stage where it's all about the Europa League, but I just don't think it was enough, like I said all season, for him to keep his job. We talked about this, us three especially. You know, I don't want to go back to Ange because we're looking forward now, but I think this is exciting. Like, guys, I've got my verve back. I've got the spring in my step back for Tottenham, and it's been missing for me for many years. I love Spurs. I love it. I breathe it. My job is about Tottenham Hotspur, but now suddenly I've got this. I don't know. Does that make sense? I've just got something reignited in me again.
Look, with what happened last season, I'm not the most emotional sort of person anyway. And what I ended up doing with Tottenham last season was cutting them off from really actually even caring to an extent, to the point that we'd concede a goal and I'd just sit there and laugh. Whereas if you put me back 2 years, I'd have nearly thrown my beer at the bloody telly. Whereas it got to the point where I just basically had to cut my emotion off from Tottenham because I just didn't want to care. It came to the final. I should have been twice as more excited than I was, and I should have been 10 times happier maybe than I was when we won it. Because when we actually won it, instead of jumping up and screaming yes, I literally fell off my chair and just on my knees in relief that we'd actually done it. I shouldn't have been feeling that. I should have been excited before I was. It was just like, thank God this game is over and thank God we've won this cup. I should have been jumping up and down screaming that we should have just won the cup and then thought about the relief of thank God that happened. With me, it just went totally the other way round. And that was due to how poor we had been playing in the past 18 months, basically, that I'd ended up cutting myself off. Yeah, okay, maybe it was the wrong way to go about it, but we all deal with our stuff differently. The fact that we were playing that bad all season, that by the end that we had just won our first cup in 17 years, I was more relieved than excited. And now
Yeah,
I hope. I wouldn't say I'm excited about Frank, but I'm very, very interested, and I'm actually looking
It doesn't have
forward
to be excited about Frank, does it? Can't it be
No.
excited about what it means for Spurs rather than just the manager's name? Like I don't ever look at a manager and go, the manager excites me. For me, it's more about what can he do with the players? What can he do with the younger players? What can he do with the coaching? What can he do with the tactics? What can he do with substitutions and stuff? For me, that's more exciting than the manager. For me, shouldn't be talked about as much as we talk about managers, in my opinion.
I've got hope in me again. I'm interested and now looking forward to next season. Whereas if we would have kept Ange, again, it's a personal opinion. I wasn't even looking forward to next season. I wasn't even interested in it, basically, if we would have kept him. But that's just how I felt, because I'd already cut myself off from it a long time earlier. And now that we've got a new manager in, I think we've got a manager that has got a lot of potential, but we don't know whether he can do it at a bigger club. Time will tell. But I've got hope because we got a manager with potential, a manager with stability, a manager that has more than one tactic, a manager that can progress players, at least get them back to their standard and then take them some. So I'm now looking forward to next season. I wouldn't quite use the word excited, but I am now looking forward to it and very interested in it. Whereas if we'd have kept Ange, I would have literally already had no interest in the bloody season because I'd already cut myself off.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. And by the way, that it's the Eze signing, Alubo. Lots of people saying, well, why would he leave Palace to come to Spurs? I mean, can we not forget we are a bigger club than Crystal Palace, right? We are a bigger pool, surely, than him staying at Palace, Lubo. Surely his agent will want that conversation.
Well,
Matty,
you think
Matt,
so?
sorry, just Lubo, before you come in. Sorry, just quickly before you come in, Matty. First and foremost, when you're saying this has taken 5 days, for fuck's sake, for Frank, stop listening to all those people that think this is Football Manager. Spurs are trying to take out 7 people from Brentford.
And possibly a player.
Right. This doesn't happen overnight, Matty. This is not Football Manager. Stop this when you're saying it's taken 5 days. You keep doing this. Matty, I keep offering you advice about how football works. And do you think that Daniel Levy gets on a Zoom call or a Teams call and goes, can we have Frank? And the chairman goes, yes, just wire me £10 million. It's not quite how it works, Matty. Come on. This is quick for Levy. Levy's done a hell of a lot in the last 8 days. Come on, man. Come on. Let's stop this. Sorry, Lubo, as you were. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Matty, Porro, Levy took a month to get Porro and a month to get Danzo. So just bear that in mind when you're thinking about 4 or 5 days with Frank. This has been going on. So, things can take, some of the biggest transfers take months and months in the making. So, we're a few days in. I get it that everybody wants a new manager in place. I get it with a new manager in place, we're able to get transfers in. We get transfers over the line. There may be several transfers possibilities where we've spoken with players and they're just saying, right, let's get let me wait till the managerial situation is sorted out. Come and speak to me again. And they've been told, we'll come back to you within a week. Hold fire. There's quite possibly a lot of that going on. So I think everyone's just got to be patient. It'll get done. It'll get sorted. And then we'll move forwards. And the transfer window, the first transfer window, I think closes today and the next one opens in 6 days' time. So, we got 6 days grace before we can start actually getting transfers put through in writing and over the line. Am I excited about Frank? I'm just excited I'm just pleased that we're out of this nightmare. And I said to you the other month, didn't I, Sam? We'll look back in June, hopefully, and the last 2 years will be just that. 2 years, a moment in time, and we're back in reality again. Because the last 2 years for me, take out the first 10 games, the last 2 years, following this team has just been dreadful, pretty much. Apart from a few nights in Europe, which were fantastic. And just funny, we all handle things differently. Just listening to Dan's relief when the final
Yeah.
whistle went, bearing in mind how shit we'd been for so long. I wasn't expecting a PSG type performance in the final. So for me, I just looked to the heavens with my arms in the air when the final whistle went, with relief, and then I just enjoyed it.
But you
it was
were
just-
there as well.
Yeah. In terms of relief, it was like Jesus. You know, we looked at the clock. The ball came up +7. The next 6 minutes went by very quickly, and then United had a corner with a minute to go. Check my watch; it said 1 minute, and I just turned around to my son and I just said, "Please God, don't give this away now. We're in the 97th minute. United have got a corner. Please, we're so close." And they got ahead on it, and the ball was cleared, and the rest is history. So, but now's the time to move on, and let's start getting our club back. I just want a football club where Sean has to find more different content because the money side's been taken out because we're just talking about football. I'm sure he'll agree with me as well. And you know, we're a proper football club like the other clubs that we're competing with. I just want us to compete, and what will be will be. You know, all I've ever asked for are owners that give it 100% and compete. No guarantee we're going to win anything, but as long as people are, you know, the fans give 100% and more to this club, and I think they deserve the same back, and that's all I want. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But at least we can enjoy the journey, because we know that they're doing everything they can to make sure Spurs go as far as they can. And this is a great club with a great history and tradition. So, you know, hopefully Levy's learning. Hopefully with Lewis's guy on the board, he'll behave himself a bit better now when it comes to the football side. And I'm looking forward to the Super Cup. I mean, God knows what will happen there, but I'm going to look forward to the trip a lot more now with Frank in charge than with Ange, that's for sure.
On the realistic side, who else could we have really? Who else was logical to go for? Now, Glasner again. I think there was a chance we could have put in the money and offered him some significant wages and maybe tempted him. But by the look of it, he'd already made his decision that he wasn't leaving Palace come love nor money, basically. And then there was Inzaghi. Now, who else do you look at? Okay, Thomas Frank, Iriola, Silva. They were logical. Xavi, yeah, I think he's another one that people are looking at more of his name than he is of his quality of manager. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad manager, but I think a lot of people also look at the name of the player he was as well. Yeah. What other logical? Yeah, there is ones out there, but literally everyone we've mentioned isn't really any different to the level of what Thomas Frank has done either as such. Okay, Glasner, yeah, 12, got the cup, whatever, but how many other logical managers were there that were that much different to what we've gone for?
No, there aren't. That's the thing.
And again, the point I keep making with him, Ian, is I think he's the sort of manager that we do need at Spurs in the aspect of I think he is the type of manager that can deal with Levy in the aspect of what Levy gives him, basically. And make the best out of it as such, because we all know in a lot of ways Levy ain't going to change. He ain't going to go out there and buy 370 million players and stuff like that. We know how he works, and I just think Thomas Frank is a good manager to deal with Levy's style.
Yeah, look. But by the way, go on, Lubo. Go on. You're right.
No, you're right, Dan. He's got history of that, hasn't he? Of working on a budget, working on less money. Players on smaller wages. I'm sure probably less, players without egos.
Gasperini,
yeah, that's right. Gasperini was another one. Listen, I suppose they're there if you look. If you got a recruitment network who are following everybody in Europe, then there are managers out there. For me, they've done the right thing. He's got 4 years experience in the Premier League. So
that is one thing
so-
people always asked for as well when they got managers
Yeah.
in before. Like, he's got no Premier League experience. That's another one. Yeah.
That's right. I think I think when Ange came into the Premier League, I think once he got over the initial bounce, and everybody started working out his tactics, I think he just sort of probably realised he'd slightly bitten off more than he could chew.
I don't think he did realise.
You don't think he did? Or
No,
maybe he just thought, he'd get there in the end.
No, I think he was just too. Look, people know I've got other opinions on Ange as well with issues, but I think he was just that stubborn that he was that sure about it that it was going to work.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, except in the cup when it also came out that the reason that they actually changed the way they played was because the players actually came to him. But then I also saw a lot of people turn around and say, oh, that's BS, that never happened, whatever else. But then they hear other stories, oh, that one definitely happened. I don't know, it's opinion, but I can totally believe that a few players went to him and said, look, if you want us to win this cup, we can't do it with an all-out gung-ho attack. We are going to have to, I do think the players had a word with him. But personal opinion again.
And I reckon if that is correct, if that report's true, then I reckon they would have had that chat with him after the Alkmaar first leg in Holland. I mean, that for me was the worst performance I've seen all season. That was dreadful. I mean,
there's been some bad ones, Lubo. There's been I can think of about 30 that rival it. Did you guys see? Did you guys see what was voted Premier League game of the season?
Go on.
Tottenham 3, Liverpool 6. 6. Fucking 6. 6 goals.
If you're a random supporter as such, not of Spurs or Liverpool, well, Liverpool definitely, but if you like your football and that, that was a brilliant game to watch all day long. It was a good game to watch for just your random follower, basically, But as a Spurs supporter, that was not a good game.
Absolutely, Batu, and the fans clapped it. That was the most concerning thing for me, was that at 5-1 down, people were singing his name. That was the day when I realised that we're quite a backwards fan base.
The world's gone mad.
The world had gone mad. By the way, for anyone that cares, Job Bellingham has completed a move to Borussia Dortmund. 32 million pounds for Joe Bellingham, who looks like he's going in the footsteps of his brother. Good move for the young lad. Bournemouth have agreed terms with Adrian Truffert from Rennes as a new left back, which means that Milos Kerkez is about to sign in a big money deal for Liverpool. These clubs just keep getting their players taken from them, don't they? I feel sorry for Bournemouth. They're about to have their entire back four ripped apart. But
look at a message that Money Mace 07, 1333.
1333?
Yeah, off Money Mace. Brilliant point. Record against Big Six. Brentford 12 games, 21 points. City 21 points. Brighton 20. Arsenal 19. Man U 17. Newcastle 16.
How many did we get?
Was
it 6
against the B6?
Yeah, I think it was about 6. Yeah, 6 or 7.
I think it was 6.
I mean, we've done City.
Liverpool beat us twice. Arsenal beat us twice.
We've done Villa.
Chelsea.
Newcastle
Chelsea beat us twice. Newcastle
beat us twice. So we beat Villa once and Man City once.
Yeah.
6 points.
Now look at that with Brentford.
Again, how many points did Brentford get?
A joint with City, 21.
21, wow.
I mean, this is again where I just feel a manager or player doesn't get credit for certain things. Go and give me some of the best managers out there and see if they could. Okay, he didn't win anything by getting Brentford promoted, but he got them promoted and he kept them in the Premier League. now for 4 or 5 years, isn't it? 4 years. I think he's kept them in the Premier League. This would be their 5th season, the one coming up now. And that deserves some sort of credit, surely. Can he take it to the next level? Time will tell. But I mean, even look at that, for God's sake. 12 games, 21 points. The only ones who are level with that is City.
Surely though, that managers like this, all normally they get an opportunity at a big club. And I'm just delighted that Frank's got his opportunity with us. He hasn't gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because someone else would have snapped him up.
And then we'd be saying, oh, we should have got him. We should have got him.
That's right.
By the way, Matty K, I live for your comments, Matty. Bellingham is another one with the name. He's nowhere as near as good as his brother. That bit, fine. If he wasn't his brother, he'd be a bang average League One player. Dude, hang on. Look at how you wax lyrical. You tell me Archie Greish should be playing for every Premier League club out there. But now Joe Bellingham, who's gone to Borussia Dortmund, is a League One player. Have a day off, mate.
And when did Dortmund ever go and get a young player that ain't had potential and turn out good? That is how Dortmund survive. They are basically They are basically another what Ajax done many years before.
Bellingham, Sancho, Bino Gittins. There's 3 English ones just to start with.
Haaland.
Yeah.
Lewandowski.
And
Matt
Hummels. And Matty, Spurs were looking at Joe Bellingham as well for the last few months. So
do you know what?
Dortmund are probably the best producers bar Ajax there's ever been, in my opinion.
If Spurs, I love Matty. Matty, never change. As you get older, never change. Matty's just gone, oh, I'm glad we didn't get Glasner. I guarantee if we had got Glasner, he would have said, I'm glad we didn't get Frank. Kate, I'm not biting with Matty. Matty's part of my crew. Come on, guys. Come on. I love little Matty K.
I think Matty's bantering you now still. Sav, sorry. Whoops.
Yeah, I like Matty. I did ask if he could join the show, but he's got an exam tomorrow, so we're not going to get him on. Guys, I am going to leave it there. We're exactly 3.5 hours in. I will be back tonight. No doubt this is Tottenham. A lot will have happened between now and later. Not sure what time, 7, 8, whenever I want, basically, these days. Thank you very much to everyone. Quickly before we go, Jerome put in a super chat, said, how can we compare ourselves to Man United, who won 20 Premier Leagues? We won a league, but not the Premier League. We are not in the same space as them. Yeah, this goes back to earlier, Jerome. Absolutely. When everyone's just going, well, how can Man U attract players and we can't? Completely different scenarios. Completely agree with you. Thank you so much, Jerome. Really appreciate you. George came in. Thank you again, George, and said sub to Dan at the Hotspur Hood and sub to Savva at fhtv. Big up to you. Thank you. We've only had, what have we had? Well, we've had 15 new subscribers today. It's not the worst, but could have been a lot more for how long we've been going. Big up to you, George. And Archer has come in and said, when people say Frank is the cheaper option, they probably just mean regarding Frank doing things on a budget at Brentford. Suits Levy, but a great coach. Yeah, Archer, but I saw a lot of people saying, oh, he'll do the cheap thing and keep Ange. You know, what he's actually done is spent 17 to 20 million pounds to change managers. So credit where credit is due. Big up to you, though, Archer. Really appreciate you. Please go and subscribe to the Hotspur Hood. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the show this morning. Don't forget to go and vote for the Content Creator Awards that those boys have put together. It's all a bit of fun. Big up to absolutely everyone out there. Let's stop the hate. Let's get some love. Show some love to other content creators. Thank you to Lubo. Thank you to Danny. Take care. And as always, hang on. I'll tell you what I should do. 1 second. 1 second. I always don't do this. 1 second. Sorry, bear with me. Bear with me, people. Bear with me.
Are you going to play? We've got our Tottenham back, are you?
No. I'm going to redirect to someone that's live. I don't do it enough, and it's the golden rule of. I'm going to send you over to. Oh my God, there's loads of people live. Who am I going to send you to? I'm going to send you over to. I'm going to send you over to LB. I'm going to send you over to LB, who's live. When you get over to LB, please, please, please smash the like button for his show, but also tap in Savva Raid. Take care, everyone. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.